Craig, you should probably apologize to the Batulas. Lindsay is currently fielding reality TV show contracts for Gemma, and Lexi, farewell, we hardly knew ye. Welcome to Showmance, guys, the only show on the internet doing deep dives on shows with no depth.
Shows as shallow as that hot tub's going to be when there's no cast left to refill it next season.
She did it. That one was good.
Okay.
What? Do you have one?
I don't, but that's your task. That's your addition to the
Okay, well,
to the
I can't.
program.
When I
That
say
sounds
them,
sexist.
listen, I know that some are better than others. I am doing my best over here.
Nobody said you weren't. But if you're acknowledging
Oh,
that,
hey,
like,
Minnie.
Should we tell the folks what happened?
I feel like people are probably so like sick and tired.
they're like, don't you guys work in entertainment?
Yeah, like
you can't
what
get a fucking button pushed,
happening? Yeah.
focus a camera.
It happens.
No.
Yeah, we have had so many weird technical issues lately. We'll go in spurts without any of them. Mike has a theory on since both my dads passed, like that they're up there like helping out where they can, but they're both wrestlers, so then they might take a beat to have a little match and then go, oh, we got to help the kids.
Yeah.
the kids,
The kids.
the 20-somethings.
Yeah.
Kids.
Friday nights. It's Fridays. They go out drinking up there, and then they forget.
Yeah.
And we have a ghost here, and the ghost messes with all our crap.
That's true, because Tuesday nights or Wednesday nights when we shoot the Valley,
It's fine.
things have been
Never
fine.
had a
It's the
problem.
summer house that we're posting on Sunday mornings that keep kind of getting punched in the gonads. So anyhow, we did this entire show last night, and we first had some blinking hard drive issues, which we don't know. It's probably because of a cord, because the cat got a hold of the cord, and so then we were using a backup one. Seemed to work okay for a bit, and then all of a sudden, after 3 hours of filming, I look at my angle, and it is complete fuzz. My whole you couldn't have used one angle of me. I wouldn't have put it out there. Like, I know that some people would and be like, well, just get over it, and maybe you guys wouldn't even care. But like, I never want to hear bad audio, and I don't want to see shitty video. So I'm not going to do that to you guys. So here we are again. What day is it? Saturday. Morning. Yeah, we're not drinking beers. I'm still drinking my lemon water because that's the morning routine. And we're going to do this all over again and hope for the best.
And we just want everyone to know that our takes always are fresh. Like, if anyone starts to talk, but when we're sitting down testing mics and cameras that hopefully will work for us, one of us will start to say something and the other one will be like, save it for the show.
Yeah.
We really go in fresh eyes, fresh takes. So people may or may not have heard these things that we've already said.
Yeah.
But we're gonna go with it because we love you.
I did try to add a few things that I didn't talk about yesterday. That's why I was just like, I'll be out in a minute, because I'm like just trying to have something that's not going to be like, oh, you don't say.
I thought you were putting on rouge.
Oh, no.
That's what I was doing.
Shall we get into it, kids?
Yes. With everyone's fingers crossed and a prayer to the little baby Jesus, all 6
And
pounds,
your
8
dads.
ounces of him, and the dads.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, top of the pops. We have Lexi. I feel like we started with the Lexi and the girl stuff, where, was Jesse an interloper? Did he affect, his Lexi's relationship with not obviously Lindsay and Gabby, but Amanda, Paige, and Sierra? I personally feel like he did. I think Paige nailed it when she said, he big dogged you. Like, oh, it's my second season. I know the ropes here. You can't trust the producers. But you can trust me.
Yeah.
But don't, Amanda, Sierra, Paige, they're a little clique, but you can trust me. And quite frankly, yes, Jesse, I do think that's what you did. And furthermore, when they cut, I loved Lexi's apology to Sierra. I thought it was heartfelt. I thought she said, when you're ready for a friendship, I would love to have one with you.
Yeah.
I thought it was light in that respect of not forcing her into something. And I would really like to see a friendship between the two of them. Whatever, they don't have to be best friends. And I know she's not on the show anymore, but maybe just like, we're out, we're cordial, posting something together. Because I do think Lexi is a stand-up chick. Obviously, we like Sierra. We want to see them overcome this fuckboy.
Yeah.
And just have something nice between the two of them.
So Amanda brought Lexi.
Mm-hmm.
They were whatever friends-ish.
Yeah.
Okay. So Lexi came to the house that Amanda invited her to, and some rando dude was like, don't trust Amanda, the girl who brought you, and these other two chicks. And she didn't go to Amanda and be like, yo, this dude's telling me not to trust. Is that cool? Like she waited 8 weeks, 6 weeks, whatever it was. Like that. I don't know, dude. I don't think. I think there's, like I said, I'm really starting to see just in the same way that I was like from the jump seeing little things about Lexi that I was like, oh, she's got a good head and she's actually a lot smarter than she looks. Trust me, something's going to cut. And she did. Now it's the opposite. I'm starting to see little things that are making me understand why this group of people doesn't seem to really like her. They've been laughing in her face for 2 reunion
They definitely
shows.
don't like her.
They don't give a shit about this girl.
Yeah.
And now we're supposed to believe that Jesse did all this shit and manipulated her against her friend that brought her, and she didn't say anything about, like, come on, get the fuck out of here. I'm not buying it. I don't think I'm buying it anymore. I'm not team Jesse. Like, Jesse, you're a dumb dude, but Jesse's a dumb dude. Like, that's the role he's playing. We pegged that in forever ago. So now I'm like, you got suckered by a dumb dude. Like, you didn't even go to your friend. Like, that doesn't make any sense. And I think that's why she's leaving now, is she was kind of like, I don't know if this totally worked out.
I don't think she was asked back. I don't think it was her leaving. I don't think she was asked back.
Okay, probably because it didn't really work out the way that anybody thought it was going to work out. And now she's trying to shit on a dude that's like, I'm not saying he's not shit on a bull, but seems a little fishy that you let this guy take you out from your friend that brought you.
Do you have a theory on this, Nat? Because I remember something from a podcast that she said.
I just noticed something, like we gave this whole spiel about how like nothing is going to be new, but like I think also from maybe takes I gave last night, I have like certain things have kind of just timing of things have dawned on me. So like maybe this will actually be nothing like yesterday. Who knows? We'll see. But one thing, okay, first of all, the thing about her being friends with Amanda, I really thought that was true as well, like in the beginning, just because like I'll take their words for everything like off the jump, and then like give me a day and like then my conspiracy brain starts going and I'm like, that doesn't seem like. And so you had always said like they might not have been friends, they just maybe traveled in the same social circles, so like they pull from people that they know, but like it doesn't mean that they've spent any real time together aside from maybe like events, like seeing each other at just like PR type of things and getting invites to the same things. She did know Amanda, take that for what you will. I don't know what no means, but she did know her for, Lexi said 2 years they had approached her. Amanda had asked her about it 2 years and like it wasn't the right time, or she didn't really know the show and like hadn't, whatever it was, like it took 2 years for Lexi to finally be like, yeah, I think I could probably do this. I'd be interested in casting for it. So I don't know if like what you're saying, like how, well, that's her friend and she couldn't even go to her friend. I think friend is a very, like, it's not like how, yeah, if it was you and I would go straight to you and be like, this is horseshit, sure. Right?
But if like, that's like, I don't know, as I said, I don't know how well friends they are, but regardless, you're the person who brought you, like, what's this, that dance with the one who brought you? Yeah. Like, if the one who brought you is in the corner with her friend and somebody else swoops in and is like, hey, don't trust that person who brought you. And your reaction is, all right, tell me more, and not give me a second. Hey, this motherfucker.
Yeah, but it's, like, I don't think you're taking into account that they were hooking up, and I feel like when you're dating someone and you're physically intimate with them and you're spending that kind of time with them, I think you have an escalated trust in them, which by the way,
jumping right into that next level of trust.
Totally, and he didn't deserve it. And I think she looks back and she's just like, yeah, I shouldn't have trusted you from jump, but I let my heart lead, because she always says like, that's how I am, and I might get hurt or make a bad decision because of it, but like I want to feel and live and whatever. And I honestly think like when my friend was asked to be on the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, she had literally, she was not friends with any of them. Was she friendly because she was at a trunk show with Sutton, or she was at a dinner party with Lisa Rinna, or they used the same general contractor and she went to her house one day to look at a renovated bathroom or
Yeah.
something like that. Like, yes, but that does not a friend make. So if someone is sitting here saying to me like, you can't trust so and so, and this, not to be disgusting, but this dude has been inside of me, like, and we've made out for hours on end, I'm probably, bad decision on my part, but I'm probably
Little
going
blinders.
to take his
But he wasn't
advice.
inside of her for a while, a few
No, they had,
weeks.
I mean, like, but 2 weeks. I think they had sex within 2 weeks.
I don't think it was that soon. And I bet you that that was probably Jesse's game plan from the jump, regardless. Like, there's also this thing of all of us feel that this whole group kind of, there's something with her other than Gabby, right? Like they don't like this. There's something going on, but I don't think we can be like, oh, there's something going on, something nobody likes her. Oh, but she should definitely be friends with Sierra. Oh, she's so sweet. I can't believe she's, you know what I mean? Like, I don't think we can have both. There's either something going on and there's a reason these people don't like her, which kind of makes sense that she's like, oh, well, Jesse did. And Jesse's like, okay, dude. Even everybody else was like, what, did he say this? And the girls chimed in, like, everyone chimed in, not in her defense. No one defended her except Gabby, who, great. Gabby's like, again, like Gabby's a Schwartz, like, I love you, but there's going to come a time where I don't know if I'm going to trust you if you're defending a girl because you're so hardcore and that's amazing. Great. Love it. Don't change. Just know that Matt Connor, I'm going to be like, I don't know. Like, I might trust you with the fashion, or if you're telling, wear this, buy that, do this, think that. But if you're like, this chick's the best, I'm going to need a second opinion. Do you know what I mean? So, like, other than Gabby, no one defended her. And they kind of went the other way. Well, you didn't. And okay. So he really said that? Well, he didn't. You know what I mean? So, like, there's something going on with this girl.
Listen, something's rotten in the state of Denmark for sure. I just happen to think that, not that she's perfect, I just think the pie chart is more in favor of Jesse having been saying one thing to one group and one thing to another, because that's what we saw all season.
Nobody's denying that. Like, I think that's 100% true.
No, but I think that that's how we got into the hot water with her kind of isolating herself with Jesse, making that, honestly, that was her tragic flaw. That was her fatal decision.
Yeah.
That she went all in on him, put all of her energy there, trusted him, hung out with him, and was trying to have this relationship with him. And it caused her to not have relationships with the 3 main chicks.
Yeah.
Because she has a relationship with Lindsay.
Yeah.
And Lindsay is a main chick, but she wasn't one this season because she's predators.
Right.
And Gabby, like Mike said, Gabby's a through and through, tried and true girl's girl.
Yeah.
So she's going to back her whether she's right, wrong, or anywhere in between. And I really think this is why I said, like, do I think her and Sierra are ever going to be best friends? No, but I think Jesse is the red herring here. And I think he fucked up this recipe of friendship with these girls. And yes, Lexi made the bad decision to trust him over making inroads with the chicks. And I hope in time Jesse continues to listen. I want Jesse to be a good guy. I don't think that's happening anytime soon. So I just hope that, like, the girls can realize, like, yeah, he's an idiot, but, like, outside of this, I'm not on the show anymore. We can be cordial with each other. She's not going to be her bridesmaid.
Yeah.
I don't think she's going to be standing next to Sierra at her wedding.
Yeah.
But, like, I just hope the temperature gets taken down, because they should be more chill with each other, because Jesse's the idiot in this situation. That's just my opinion.
Okay, let me just so one thing that dawned on me was that, for a big picture, and then we'll get to the smaller point. The bigger picture, I think, is that she did go super fast, super quick, and kind of fall hard for a dude, which is like also, but I've also said that, like, I don't believe that she ever would, because I just think that the caliber of woman that she is like, I can't imagine in the real world she's out there dicking around with idiots like Jesse Toothy Solomon. Like, it just, like, none of that adds up to me. I just think that I just think you don't date the kind of men that you've dated this whole time, and then suddenly this guy has some appeal. Like, I think you would see right through him and not even have any interest. But if we are just taking it at face value and believing her that she really did fall for this guy, she fell fast and hard, and it was a very, like, a vacuum kind of environment. And so I feel like there's a shot to me that she kind of found out far out in the game, like late in the season, that he was doing what he was doing. She might have had little spidey sense going off here and there. And she was getting DMs throughout and whatever, and just kind of like shoving that off because maybe she really did like him and whatever. And I feel like by the time that she figured it all out, there was such few weekends left that she was like all of a sudden trying to do what because when she broke up with him the first time, everything she said, it was like, that's why we fell in love with her so hard. Like, it was so brilliant. It was so perfect. We all hope our daughters serve up a dude that way one day. Like, that's the dream. No, like no notes. No notes to me for not even thinking of those things. You know, like it was that good. And so then she's trying to play cleanup after that, taking into consideration of like, I've got 3 weeks left. They never know if they're getting asked back until, like I said, I mentioned this last night, that I saw Paige on something, maybe it was her Amazon Live or whatever. I can't remember what exactly it was, but it was very recent. Parade magazine. She did a thing with Parade. And she said, you guys, like, you all think that we know what's happening. Very easily, you will all know what's happening before we do. We don't get asked back until, she's like, we start filming in July, like July 4th weekend around that or whatever. We won't know until mid-June. They don't get there. They don't make their decisions. They don't make that phone call. We don't know. I assume that some people know further out than others because some people just have bigger lives and need to be booked out and whatever. But anyhow, so it just seems like Lexi being the last man, like the newbiest newbie out of all of them, would really not know what her fate was after this. So it seemed like she tried, it seems like what Lindsay said about like the whole persona and perception thing, that where that held most true for Lexi was in the last probably 3 weekends where she realized, I don't know what's going on here. I feel like I don't know what they're going to show of me all season. I was a total idiot. It seems like this guy snowed me. That's embarrassing. Am I just going to like, what are they going to show? No one ever knows. And I've got 3 weeks to like make a move. And it's like she went too hard, too extreme on filling in all the blanks for everyone. Like as honestly, like it's such a natural move. Like it's a good business move. But anytime that you're working like, this isn't thought out. This isn't planned. This is, you know, Lindsay's got her. That's why the timelines for Lindsay or the schedules and the want to do this, that, and the other. That's where that kind of shit comes in and serves you well. She didn't have the time to do that. So I think that's what we are seeing, where she kind of fell apart and lost the viewers. Like the audience was just kind of like, they weren't on Jesse's side because who could be? Like he just sucks. But they definitely fell off of her. So I think that she kind of did that to herself, and that's a bummer because I personally don't know if I could have done it any better. So there's that. The other thing with her is that did dawn on me, that's a point against her, but also could just still fall into like her last minute like go time, was that reunion, whenever that was shot, was weeks and weeks before, like there were several interviews after that she gave. I didn't think about that at the time, that like say the reunion was taped 6 weeks ago. She's not stopped giving those interviews, and they've all been the basically saying that Sierra and Jesse, I don't like, so that apology now, as much as like I watched that apology and thought it was totally genuine, and I'm not saying that it's not genuine because like I still truly believe her. I think she's a trustworthy person, but maybe something else happened to where she found out more.
Wait, what interviews? Because I remember like even the one that they showed on the reunion, the guys, when she said the stuff about Sierra and like her birthday party, Sierra, Jesse, they were like, well, they better be ready for you at the reunion. And like on Vile Files.
That was before, but she's given several since then.
Oh, I didn't know that. I thought
she's still going. Like she's still on, she did one with Tinks and one with maybe the Toast. Maybe the Chicks in the Office. Like, I think she's been on several more outlets, and those are just the ones I'm coming up with off the top of my head. But I think it was all a part of she's still on that media blitz of trying to like, I'm out here promoting. I'm ready for next season, like doing everything she can to get on. So I still don't, and people might think like, well, that's calculated. No, that's terrible. I just don't fault anyone for trying to reserve their spot, to get their spot back. You got minutes left in the game. You're shooting as many fucking air balls if you have to, but you're shooting, you know?
It's calculated for a normal person.
Yeah.
For someone who's in the public eye, an influencer, social media, a celebrity, whatever you want to call it nowadays, it's a totally normal
It's just work.
practice.
It's just work. It's just good business.
Fucking work. Yeah, it's a good
being
hard work is what it is.
proactive.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's not weird. It's weird for people like
Yeah.
us and like hopefully.
Well, Nat, if that's true, that like, you don't think that the apology was genuine?
Like, I think it was because I still believe that, like, I'm watching that performance, and unless she is, who'd you say Shep? I thought Shep must be when I was saying that Shep gave the performance of a lifetime. And you're like, do you think he's Daniel Day-Lewis then? Then I think that she's Daniel Day-Lolita Lewisita.
I don't think. I mean, that apology seemed not genuine, but like it seemed like it seemed like the last 3 weeks of this thing totally backfired. And I wish I had a time machine, and I wish I knew Lexi, and I wish I knew like what was, and I wish like with 4 weeks to go, she would call me and be like, all right, I'm going to break up with it. Then what? I'm going to be like, this is going to be Lexi's house here next season. Here's what you're going to do. And ditch the dude in it to do everything you had planned. Go for the last 3 weeks. Isolate those two knuckleheads. No one talks to them. You take the girls out every weekend. You party. You do your thing. It's just you and the girls. Make the boys look like dumbasses. And just sitting there. Kyle's peeing in the bushes. Like put them all out to pasture. And the girls party the down. Sierra and Paige is free now. Let's do this, right? And that you secure your spot with the girls. You secure your spot on the show. You did stand up for women. You did come up and make women proud and show these dumb dicks what the fuck's going on now, and that there's a new boss in town. And done. We'd still be sitting here. I'd be signing the lease on Lexi's boot camp. I'd be painting and doing all kind of shit.
Matt would be doing something on Canva.
Yeah, dude, like it would be on. And now we're all just like, stupid. And now Paige is gone, and like she's not coming back, which like at this point, I don't think anybody even cares about Lexi coming back, you know? So I think it all backfired. I think the whole thing backfired. I think the thing during the reunion, but then when Sierra was like, no, bitch, like you have been trolling me on the, like, no, I'm not buying it. Great, loved it. And it was her being like, fired again. So as soon as they yelled, we're clear, she was like, oh, I got to apologize. Like so I don't think it was not sincere, but I also think it was like, if it makes sense, an apology where you're like, now I got to apologize. That didn't work out the way I thought. Where you're not, as opposed to like, man, I should apologize. That was you know what I mean? The difference of like,
if everything you guys are saying is true, and I'm not saying that it's not, because
everything we're saying is 100% true.
No, because
this
you make
the
really
internet.
valid, because you make really valid points. Then clearly what happened is Paige, Sierra, and kind of Amanda.
And we're back. Flashing drive again. If anybody out there does something any kind of similar to what we do, and they're using an ATEM mini switcher, or and they're having any issues with a blinking ISO record button, that red light, and it's happening more and more, and we'd love to hear from you if you are
call
having
us. Let us know your experience.
Yeah, we don't want you to be, but if you are, we're happy to hear your story and get some tips. Anyway, Dave, call us. Producer. Don't listen to him, Mr. Portnoy. It's fine. He didn't mean that. You know.
Well, you've said Barstool for the last 2.5 years. I didn't know you guys were on a first name basis now.
Oh,
I'd love to be on a first name basis. I'm putting it out in the universe that I'm on a first name basis with Dave.
Dave's response would be like, I don't fucking know. Why do you think I got these 40 people working for me?
Yeah, send us one of those 40 people.
Or just give us even a few of their hours in the day. We don't need the whole person.
Yeah, we could just get a direct line.
I'll just take a pizza.
I was saying before the drive started flashing, I was saying if what you guys are saying is true and you make a lot of really good points, then the reason they don't like her is because they think that she's performative and kind of full of it.
Yeah.
That's it.
And also, if the whole thing about Bravo, like, there's been all these rumors about a spinoff. We never know what's true because, and once again, I got to say that the whole reason we even started talking more seriously about this spinoff and not just as like a, it's on your Christmas list.
Yeah.
Like, is because stupid Jesse fucking idiot Solomon got on an Amazon Live weeks ago and said, there's a big announcement at the reunion coming. I was taken aback, or whatever he said.
Hold on.
It was enough for us all to really start putting this into real motion. Again, I get it. If Lexi felt snowed by this dude, here I am snowed by this dude because we've spent so much time.
That's what
really,
I'm saying.
Yeah.
He has shown us time and time again that he's a schmuck that does stuff
Yeah.
like this. And to that end, so Lexi was asked about that when Jesse said, hey, there's a big announcement at the reunion. And they're like, what? We know you can't tell us exactly what it is, but like, is it as big? Or, just give us whatever crumbs you can give us. And she said, I have no idea what he's talking about.
Yeah.
Like, I'm replaying the entire...
What was it?
There
nothing.
wasn't one. They never gave one. Like, unless, there's one more, there's no more reunions left, but there is like a lost footage thing. So like maybe that's where the texting all these bitches is gonna pop into. I think I saw the clip again for the all the
Period stuff.
dudes are putting on the simulator thing.
Yep.
Maybe there's a part of the reunion in there where Paige does say, adios, thank you everyone. Like maybe that's in there. Like so there could be, but like I don't know, between Bravo and Jesse and the whole cast not knowing, if they're going to be asked back, if there is a season 10, if they're a part of it, if they're going elsewhere, there's rumors of a spinoff. Like everyone could just be completely reacting off of Bravo dangling a bunch of things over everyone's heads. Maybe the women in the beginning thought, oh, like let's bring other people in. We're out of here. We're all in talks with Bravo about this thing. That was a year ago. The year goes by. The conversations get lighter and lighter. You start realizing, shit, is this the only show that any of us can be on? Okay, well now Lexi, everyone, fuck Lexi. Like she can't, like if we're all going to be here next year, we don't want to put her up anymore to like, this is all the business that all of these people are in is the business that everybody that we know is in. That is just like, there's something dangling over your head and you're every day waking up with like I think I've got control of something. The
LOL.
next day, the next day, Jesse Solomon comes and pees on you. Yeah.
Because we still can't stop.
Exactly.
It is the most fickle friend you will ever meet, this industry.
Yeah.
You could I told you, I know someone who they were running cables for the show, which means the entire crew's there. They're ready to shoot. And one measly sticking point on a contract couldn't be agreed to, and the entire show gets shit canned.
Yeah.
Like
happens all the time.
You can't even imagine the scenarios. It seems made up.
Yeah.
Like no, that couldn't possibly be true. And it's like, oh, but let me tell you 18 more examples of this.
Yeah.
So I get what you're saying. And it makes me actually think of the Valley because they've all said this show was supposed to be greenlit 3 years before we ever started filming.
Exactly.
Or it ever went on air.
And with a completely different cast.
Yeah.
And had been being planned when Katie Maloney is on Schwartz's podcast, or vice versa. I don't know who was doing what that day. But she goes on about how like this was something that we all believed we were just transferring over to, like just a seamless transition. You think that after 10 seasons you could rely on like if you can, but like that's the thing.
Again,
after
cue
10
the laughter.
seasons, LOL. Like how sad is it? And then we wonder why all these people are so up. And
by the way, and I know that we're mixing two shows now, but this is why we said what we said about Lala and Sheena and Schwartz in the Valley. They're hanging around because they know that this industry is a fickle friend.
Yeah.
They know that it doesn't matter that we're working with the same production company, the same team, it's the same people essentially.
Yeah.
I have to stay front and center. I gotta stay in the mix because like as soon how women talk about, I want to be a stay-at-home mother, but I'm nervous to leave the workforce because if I do, I don't know how hard it's going to be to jump back in the game. I think it's the exact same thing with these reality people that are in this world, right?
Yeah.
Lala, 20 months pregnant, is on the show with her cute little belly because she's like, I know I have to sing for my supper because this helps me stay relevant and I got to stay in front of them. And I think to your point, Jesse probably was in, again, everything that Jesse says, there is some seedling of, okay, I see where you pulled that from.
Yeah.
Lexi said to you, you know, it's weird. Why are you following all these like Instagram models?
Yeah.
Right. But did she have an app tracking everyone that you followed in real time?
Yeah.
No. Was she actually stalking you? No. People were just feeding her this information.
Yeah,
So
because she has a jillion followers.
correct. That's where the truth goes in one direction and Jesse goes in another.
Yeah.
And so I think what happened here is Jesse probably had a preliminary conversation with some head mucky muck at Bravo or some production company about maybe this change happening. And he took it as like, we're announcing a new network.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be the Andy Cohen of it. And,
Yeah.
and during the interludes, I'm going to be singing Michael Bublé cover songs.
Oh my God. Yeah.
He's just that off
Yeah.
the truth spectrum here.
Lala has 2.4 million followers on Instagram alone.
Yeah.
What the does Bravo offer her at this point? Like, I am so confused. Like, I'm like, what? I'm at a tennis match because I'm like, oh yeah, no, that makes sense. But then I'm like, no, that makes no sense anymore. It makes no sense anymore. It did 5 years ago, maybe even 3 years ago, but it doesn't anymore. Bravo makes no sense anymore unless you're 10,000 subs. Like, unless you're.
Well, let me ask you this, because I agree with that question, and I don't know the answer
Lala
to it.
could do so much more on her own.
But let me ask you this then. You look at someone like Denise Richards, okay, who just put on a new show on Bravo with her whole family. Her girls, Charlie Sheen came on it. And hold on, she's making $2 million a month on OnlyFans. And she doesn't need to have this show. So why is she doing it then?
Who? Lexi?
Denise Richards.
Or, Denise Richards.
Like, I'm asking because
Oh.
I think I'm not, and that this isn't a gotcha question. I think he has a
Yeah, I
valid
don't
point,
know.
and
I
I'm
don't
asking
know.
like
I
other
really
people are
don't know.
doing this.
That's
It's
why
not
I'm
just
like,
Lala.
Yeah, that's why I'm tennis court. Like, I'm tennis. I'm back and forth. Like, I don't know.
That
and then
one's
listen,
easier.
What one's easier?
That one's easier for me.
Denise
like,
Richards.
Like if we're
Like,
talking
she
about
hasn't
people
been
going on
relevant
YouTube,
in a while.
Right.
She's relevant to the tune of $2 million a
No,
month
totally.
on
To a,
OnlyFans.
but
Who
no
gives a shit?
offense,
She's
like,
not acting anymore.
I don't care. I don't care about. I totally fine with
Yeah,
OnlyFans.
yeah.
Totally fine. What I'm saying is the customer of an OnlyFans is niche to a sense. Like, get it, 2 million, 20. Like, these chicks and dudes are making a bank, right? But like, that's not the Bravo. It's not a mainstream audience, I guess, is what I'm trying to say.
Do you know
Maybe it is. I don't even know.
This is what I think it is. I think maybe what you're not accounting for is that one hand definitively feeds the other.
Sure.
And vice versa.
Yeah.
So even though Bravo might not have, Bravo has a reach, trust.
Yeah.
People have built legit companies from starting off on Bravo shows. Hold on one sec. They also have Bravo Con and things splinter off just from the Bravo world.
Definitely.
You know, and I think that even though it might not have the reach that, you know, you have 2.4 million followers that you could reach at the drop of a hat, I think it keeps you in the circuit. I think it keeps you in the loop. I think it keeps you on as a guest on The View. You know, Denise Richards promoting her new show. And I think all these little pieces add up to something that you're like, that is valuable for me.
Definitely. And for 60 years, that's been true. The View is on NBC, which is a Bravo, NBC, Universal property. Like, yes, all that has been true. But I've been preaching this for so long that TV's dying, and everyone in my business is like, okay, buddy, and pat me on the head. And I'm like, okay. And just in the last 6 months, my best friend that is also my boss, and we have been talking about this, no shit, for 20 years. And like, hardcore for the last 5 years of like, oh, it's on, it's coming, it's a wrap. Like, our budgets are getting cut. There's no money in TV. We've talked about it a little bit on the show. The advertisers, they're not in TV anymore because there's no eyeballs in TV. Summer House gets 400,000 viewers. That's not bad for cable. AGT is the show that I work on. We get 6-7 million viewers, and that's the number one show. 6 million views.
Mormon Wives is getting over 1 million.
That's insanity
insane.
for cable, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Nick Vile's doing their reunion.
That's a great
he's
play.
their host.
He just
Like, he's the Andy Cohen. Or I guess they're not
that
on
That's
Bravo, but
that's
like,
a brilliant hire. I
Totally.
think that is so. Whoever did that,
yeah, that'll be interesting.
and
Get
all
a
the work
bonus.
that Nick has put into getting here. Like, we've been tracking him pretty much from the jump of when he started this show, and to watch his views go to what they are, to watch his guests go to what they are. We talk about how he used to be a little bit more loosey-goosey on really kind of taking people down to Chinatown, and now he has to kind of be more cognizant of like, well, if we want them to come on, we just kind of have. But he still really gives it to them. Like this is the guy to watch if you are in this arena and you are just like, I hope that he does more interviews on the other side of the couch because I would love to hear how he started, like when he made a game plan to get to here, because it's all happening.
He's like the new Ryan Seacrest, I think, in the sense of he will be hosting things. He will be more in the zeitgeist as someone that's like, oh, people like him, and we could have him
choosing and producing shows of his own and putting casts together that he thinks will work, because he's now got a whole 360-degree kind of participation.
He's producing other
in
shows.
all of it. Yeah, but having been the villain, having been on reality TV, having had no control, and now making his way as he has, it's just like there's not a lot of people that have that kind of experience.
He's done a great job. Period.
Yeah, and he's so cute.
But this is my point, right? So all the things you're saying are 58 years true. The last few years, not true anymore. The multi-level marketing, and you're going to go on these shows and that shows and the other show. It's not a thing. Where do you go now?
Podcasts.
Can you get on Joe Rogan? Can you get on Nick Viall? Can you get on Theo Vaughn? Can you get on Bad Friends? That's where we're going. That's why our advertisers there, because that's where the ears and the eyes are. We're just hanging out on TV waiting for them to like close the curtain. Like that is literally what's happening.
I don't disagree with you.
You would what?
I said I don't disagree with you.
Oh, I thought you said I would disagree. I was
no,
like,
I
fucking bring it.
Did you see that? Word to the wise, no one disagreed with
just
he
meant
was about to come for
on this
you.
topic, I would be like, let's go. Like, so I think that, and Nick Viall, perfect example. Like, I don't think Nick Viall's going to be the next Ryan Seacrest, because Ryan Seacrest is a robot and nobody works like that dude. Like literally nobody works harder than Ryan Seacrest. And I don't know if Nick Viall has that kind of work in him. I like Nick Viall, but I think Nick Viall will be the next Andy Cohen-ish almost, where he's more of an EP and a developer and a producer, and like he's running the Viall media, and like, and listen, we're all trying to do the same thing here. So, but there's a reason we're trying to do it here, is because the old thing, The Bachelor, is The Bachelor coming back? Nobody knows.
Yeah.
Nobody fucking knows. The Bachelor, no one knows if The Bachelor is coming back. That's a real thing. People are leaving reality. Like, this is happening. It's happening. Nick Viall is making money on YouTube. Paige and Hannah are killing it on Spotify, and they don't need us anymore.
That we can't seem to get to the bottom of. That's where the crux of this conversation is, right? Like, but why are people still like? Why is Denise Richards doing it?
Why is Lala doing it? 50-something years old. Lala,
listen,
I don't know.
Lala,
I think
just say one thing that kind of sets Denise Richards apart from other people. I am like, I don't know this, but I would imagine, like, if I'm Denise Richards, I'm on OnlyFans, I'm making all this money, I would still like to get back into the mainstream. I don't want to be relying on an OnlyFans type of platform that is like just complete sexuality. Like that's like, it's very sex.
That's what I mean. Like, I'm not shitting on it, but
if
it's
I'm
not
Denise,
mainstream.
I'm making all the money I can while I'm still looking rockin', like she still looks banging, and so she's doing that now, and she obviously has no shame about it, and as she shouldn't. I think, like, every time I hear about the kind of money people on OnlyFans are making, I'm like, what is keeping, like, aside from like, I'm not Denise Richards hot, but like, what else aside from that? It is all internalized, like how I'm brought up, the society's view of it. Like, if I'm a robot, I'm looking at dollars and cents and going, oh, let me
That's
do this
a good
for a year
investment.
and do absolutely nothing for the rest of my life. Like, so, but I think that some people still have that. Like, she would like to be someone that has offers that don't require her to figure out new ways to angle and show her boobs. You know,
Can I tell you something though? I was literally having a conversation with my girlfriend this morning about OnlyFans, and we were both joking, like, who gives a shit? Like, if people are still finding us sexy and what, like, shake them if you got them, make that money. Obviously, we're not going to do it because of everything you just said.
Yeah, because our parents are still alive, and like,
yes,
that's it.
Yeah. So, my mom still won't wear white after Labor Day. If I tell her that, like, I'm doing this, that'll be a real problem. Okay. So my point is that when we were talking, she told me, she goes, OnlyFans, first of all, it didn't start off as this. And second of all, it's not just a platform it's known for that. But there was a woman who during the pandemic, she became really famous for like recipes and organizational tips and all that stuff. She has a thriving OnlyFans that people subscribe to.
I think there's two OnlyFans. There's the OnlyFans titty time. And then there's the OnlyFans. There's a secondary OnlyFans that's like just regular people.
But it's still all the OnlyFans platform. Like, you don't go to a different website, right?
I don't know if it's a different website or a different, and I don't know. I heard this. It might be like a different link. I don't know. I don't, but I think I do remember them saying they're either trying to build two separate things or they already have, or it's something like that. But they are trying to have like a titty time OnlyFans and no, this is for people who want to do their own shows and recipes and like reality show, like a YouTube style Patreon where you pay for a thing. So I think I think that like the difference is Denise Richards definitely trying to get into the mainstream, hasn't been mainstream for a while. Also of an age where TV, that like, so I talk to people, not all the time, because I feel like I'm going to get fired one day when people are like, oh, TV's dead, get the off our thing then. Please don't.
Please, God.
Yeah, I know. I like it. I've spent my whole adult career in television. And I don't think entertainment's dying. Of course, entertainment will never die. Just how we view entertainment is changing. So it's a little dramatic when I'm like, oh, TV's dead. It's just changing. It's just changing. And it's fun and it's exciting. Exactly. It totally has. And it's super fun. And it's what we're doing now. And it's what you guys are doing. You're watching, you're commenting, we're commenting back. Like, we're all in this together. Like, that's me. I'm getting me chills right now. Like that's what we've all been waiting for is like, so how do we produce a show, show it to people and get their reaction right away. And also be in control, straight no chaser to the people. And no one's going to do it for you. Like, so much of this industry, we've joked on other episodes, is waiting for that phone call where they're inevitably going to be like, we know you met with us 10 times. You missed your grandmother's funeral to meet with us. Thank you so much. Hope you got those flowers, but we're going in a different direction. Yeah. And it's just like to take yourself out of the misery of that and be able to say, this is what we're doing. We don't have to wait to hear from someone. If you call me, I know you're not going in a different direction. Like, we're just talking about producing the stuff that we love. Yeah. And I think the changes like this is when counterculture stuff gets to happen and we get new content or in new ways and fresh voices. It allows people that would never have been discovered otherwise to break through. And I think that is so, as someone who is you, me, all of us, I can speak for all of us who have worked their fingers to the bone to try to make something happen in this industry, to have an opportunity like that is so fucking cool. Yeah. It's just the opportunity to there's no middleman anymore. Mm-hmm. Like, granted, it takes money, it takes time. Like, it doesn't really, like, if you have a phone, like, a phone costs money, but like, you can do this with a phone. But it cuts out the middleman now. Like, you don't have to wait for 32 people to say yes. You can have a feeling, you can get your friends together, you can make a thing, and you can put it out there, and maybe no one's going to like it. Deal with it. Make another thing. Like, keep going. But it's like, there's no middleman. You make your thing, you put it out there, and you get to see if people like it right away. There's no network. There's no like, oh, well, it didn't make this queue for numbers, and the average, and we got a new. No, put it out. Like it, great. Don't like it, we're moving on. So it's just, that shift is happening. we're going on a big, huge tangent about that. I'm not talking about the show, excuse me, but I still talk to people once in a while that in entertainment, and would you get on this? And they're like, what are you talking? Right over. They have no idea it's happening. Like they still are like, I don't know. It's just, we're just in a lull. I'm like, oh, cool. That's great news. Like I cannot wait to get season 22, 3, 4, and 5 of AGT then.
It's like in that movie about the stock market crashing, when that realtor's taking them out and she's like, the market's just in a teeny weeny gully.
Yeah.
And it was 2008 crash. It was right before that. We're just in a itsy bitsy gully right now. Nothing to worry about. And it's just like the entire neighborhood that they're driving by is like
foreclosures
signs everywhere. Yeah. It's like totally vacant. Like there's homeless people living there because like that's how long it's been vacant. Like just hold on a little bit longer. Yeah.
So there's still people that are like, do you hear Connor? He's a little cuckoo. And then there's a few people that are like, oh, damn, dude, that thing you've been yapping about in the corner for 6 years? Yeah, it's happening. I'm like, yeah, no, I know. Did you see my YouTube channel? Like and subscribe. It is funny not to brag a little more, but like that a couple of people have come to and been like, damn. You oh shit. I'm like, dude, I told you guys all to get a YouTube. I told all of you. If you didn't do it, that's on you. So I think there's a mix of people who don't really think TV is going away. And they're still like, yeah, no, TV show. I got a TV show. Yeah, cool. I'm relevant. But I think that's going to really, really go away. Like I said, every time I see Lala, like I like again, tennis, I'm back and forth. You guys say the thing about, oh, she needs to be relevant. She has 2 kids. And I'm like, yeah, no, that makes sense. But then I go back into me and who I am at my core. And I'm like, no, 2.4 million. I don't think they get that in a whole season. Like 12 episodes of The Valley doesn't get, like, so and then every time I see her on that show, she has that face, like I may have said this yesterday, she has the face that like I have when I'm watching Housewives, which is just full disgust and confusion of like, what am I doing here? Why am I doing this? She hasn't really brought anything to the entire season.
Are we talking about Lala?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I know there's a different show, but
No,
I'm just talking about why people, like, again, for those of you who are still with us, can I talk about why people are still choosing to be on TV and versus not? So yeah, I don't know. I'm confused. But I do feel like she's like, I don't know what I'm doing here. She's added nothing except the Jesse thing. So I don't know why people still want to be on TV.
I'm telling you, for whatever reason, I still think people are looking at it like the juice is worth the squeeze a little bit. It's almost like, when someone has a significant other, it's like, oh, I have a boyfriend that, like, he's not the best boyfriend, but like I have a date on national holidays and like it's just enough until you realize like, wait, what am I doing? I'm a badass bitch. I don't need this. I could hook up with whoever I want. I don't have to let this guy come over, piss, leave the toilet seat up. Like, like I could do this on my own. I just think everyone's not there yet. They're still like dating the person that's just doing enough. Yeah.
Someone like Lala, like I feel, because I think that Lala could lead her own show. Like I think that Lala is like top tier, and I know a lot of people don't like Lala, but I'm just, even if you don't like her, take her mode of operation, her sort of like how she seizes every opportunity of every storyline of it. Like she moves story forward all the time. She causes disruption in every storyline if she wants to. She has a great way of like standing 10 toes down when she wants to, and then backing off and being like MIA when it best benefits her, and whatever.
She brings main character energy.
Exactly. If you hear nothing else I just said, she brings main character energy. She should get to a point where, like, because it's not easy to, like, it is easy if you are already doing it. Like, I think it is easy to put your own, like, little YouTube kind of camera crew production together. You'd have to put some of your own money into it. But Lala should definitely spend less time trying to get on a Bravo show and more time into trying to find those, like, billionaire investors that want to go in, like, let her run a show, to let her put a cast together. Then you do risk, obviously, Lala will have, like, final say in final cut, so like she'd be able, but Lala's also smart enough to know that like you got to let some of those moments, oh shit moments, stay in because just a few of them garner the authenticity that like is believable.
Well, that's
also,
why
billionaire investors have a tendency to take final cut from you.
Sure,
they got
but also that's why
billions.
her and
Yeah,
Ariana
yeah.
had a fight in the last season of Vanderpump Rules because she was like, "You don't get to come to work and not do anything," because that was
Yeah.
Lala's impression of how Ariana was showing up in season whatever 10
Yeah.
of Vanderpump Rules, and so I just don't think I know we're talking super mega hypotheticals right now, but I just don't think she would ever. I think she shows up to work.
I do too. And the people that are really, I have found that the people that are anti-Lala, like some people just don't like the way she rolls. They don't like the way they don't like someone who's like in your face all the time. Me as an elder viewer, and now the further you go along in life, the more drugs you take, the more whatever. Like you need bigger ups, you need bigger highs. Like nothing. So I'm like bring all that stuff now because I'm so hard to entertain. I want to see people acting a fool and acting crazy and whatever. But I feel like a lot of people that are anti-Lala are often referencing how she treated Ariana at the end. And I've been trying, I've entertained it so hard. I've tried to consider that. I've tried to look and see, did I miss something? Or like, oh, that was kind of like, she came for her because like, maybe they know that like this next season's on the line and it doesn't seem like anyone's bringing it. And it seems like Ariana was fielding all of these offers and not taking into consideration that the rest of the cast who did not have those kinds of things coming to their doorstep. And I think that she got authentically, genuinely upset that she has, more money, more problems, more kids, more problems, like big divorces, big settlements, people that are getting taken down in media are not going to have the kind of money to pay the child support and pay the alimony and whatever. So she's seeing big picture, like you are deciding to not show up and it is going to affect an entire cast and crew of 300 people. And it just seems like this thing happened to you and now you can do no wrong. And so I have never felt like Lala was acting in irrationally. Like I think that that's just someone showing it on their sleeve, whereas other people might, like Katie Maloney. I love Katie Maloney, but she seemed to have some backdoor conversations about that kind of frustration, but would never bring it to. I respect the best friendship, like not taking it to the media, but like the authenticity of it is, whatever's most important to you, the authenticity or being a best friend or laying low or whatever.
I think that this is my fault, but I sent us on a 30-minute tangent that has nothing to do with anything that we're supposed to be talking about.
I know, but here's the thing. I think that it is over. It is the bubble that is surrounding why this reunion was so weird.
Yep.
It shows you why nothing's really adding up because we're in a transitional period and all these people seemed really authentic one moment and then seemed to be completely switched a week or two later. And we don't know who to trust anymore. And we're wondering why we followed this person into the dark. And now we're like, whoa, what are we doing here in this dark cave? Like following, we don't even know this girl. And it's why like Paige has every year has brought it against someone. Paige has been so much more like active and taking people down during reunions, and she didn't this year. And it's because she probably always knew like, this is it for me. There's nothing to be garnered. Like I can just sit here and chill. It's why Amanda said, yeah, it was probably the best reunion we've ever had. Like, because there's possibly something that they think that they're moving on to, but then they didn't know later. Basically the industry is changing. It is causing everyone else to act to react and to not like, and it's like a new thing every day. Like what we watched them do for 6 weeks, on the 7th week, suddenly everything was flipped on its head because became a rumor that like maybe that spinoff's not happening and maybe we are just going to go back to Summer House. Maybe you are, maybe I'm not. I don't know. Who knows? I think it's why we talked a little bit about how Sierra was like having that moment with Paige where she was crying. And I'm like, why is she crying so emotionally for Paige right now? And I think it was like, of course she wants Craig to be on Team Paige, but I just think it was so much more than that. It is so much more like she might know if they really are good friends and have like a great relationship outside, then Paige is probably sharing with her that like, I may not come back next year. Giggly is taking off and Sierra's wondering what's going to happen to her. And now my best friend isn't going to be here. And now I'm stuck with, like, I'm still in love with this guy that's in the house. And so like, who am I going to have next year? Like, I think we're watching a lot of emotions come to a breaking point, come to a level. And so it just sort of explains to me why this season has been.
It's the last weekend of summer camp.
Exactly.
Everybody's
Are we going to stay
so
friends?
sad.
Is he going to call me? You know, am I going to be camp counselor? They told me I had a great shot at being camp counselor.
Is this camp even going to be here next summer? I heard somebody saying they were having financial problems.
Yeah.
There was some quote from, God, I hope you guys can remember it, but there was some great quote from Almost Famous where they talk about like the end of the circus. Do you know what I'm talking about? Like when you're pulling everything down, everyone's going their separate ways.
Oh, yeah.
Like there is some weird.
What movie is this?
Almost Famous.
Oh no, it's everyone's just trying to not go home.
Or like, face reality, grow up. Like,
yeah, but I just mean that's the line. Everyone's trying to not go home. And so it's at that moment where like, oh, I thought I could trust you. I thought we were in love. You are, but I've also been in this band for 10 years. It's gone nowhere. And now we're going to be on the cover of Rolling Stone. And so I'm sorry, but like, I'm going to be on the cover of Rolling Stone. Like, and like shit just has to go a certain way now for me to continue. Like, what's the next step to that? Are we going to be back on the bus next year? No more planes. Like, it's just raised levels of ego and of an industry, an entertainment industry who has been fucking with people since you could fucking fuck with them.
Like when you go from the bus to the plane, somebody inevitably doesn't make it on the plane.
Yeah, because there's only 6 seats on this private plane.
And then the bus has 10 seats.
Yeah.
So maybe 4 people don't make the plane. You know.
Yeah.
Like,
I kind of feel like that's what we're seeing.
Yeah, and it's the story. Unfortunately, this is gonna sound so lame and cheesy, but it is a story of success. Like it is the story of success.
Yeah.
Is
you all come up together, and then Harry Styles goes solo. You all come up together, and then Justin Timberlake goes solo, and it's like, where does that mean for us? Do we hate our best friend now who has gotten us this far? I love him, but do I hate him?
That means me as Lance Bass, I have to start a channel on Sirius XM and I need to host an HGTV show.
Yeah.
And that's why I still think if we're actually coming maybe full circle to some kind of an answer, I think that's why some of these people who, yes, you do have the 2.4 million followers. I'm sure Lance Bass has a lot of followers, but he's still doing these things.
Yeah.
Because I think we still are enough in a world where we haven't fully transitioned to just everybody giving their own content, nothing else existing. You're the master of your own fate. And so that's why I still think people keep their fingers in different pots. You put a lot of irons in the fire for right now because it's a diverse investment portfolio. Like you don't put all your money in one stock.
But it's definitely. TV is a lot of work. Even being a cast member on a TV show is a lot of work. Making a TV show is a lot of work. Being a camera operator is a lot of work. A production person, a producer, an executive producer, running a network is a lot. It's so much work. And so it's quickly becoming not like, I get what you're saying, but it's like where before you were on a TV show and then you would do a magazine that had 600,000 reach, you know, and then you do a little article on a website that like maybe 180,000 people are going to see. And that was your press, right? And so you're definitely right. That transition is now, we're not on a TV show and then doing press. We're a brand and the TV show is part of our press.
That's right.
Oh,
that being said, it's super easy to sit down for a 2-hour article where they come to your house and snap some pics and then they go home, right? TV is hard.
Yeah, so but they're only interested in getting the interview from you because we saw what happened with you and Jesse on Summer House.
That's the past. The future is going to be, we saw what happened to you on your YouTube show and what in your Instagram stories and how you traveled to that place and did that guy really steal everything? He took everything. Like it was the craziest shit. Did she really? Yeah, she did. You guys really broke both? Yeah. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's, and I'm not saying everybody's going to be a Instagram, but like, I'm saying that people who choose to be in Hollywood for all these years now have to choose to be in social media, new media. I don't even know what to call it. Like pick a spot. We picked YouTube. Like, but we are normal people, but we also are normal people who work in entertainment and are striving to make something in entertainment. Entertainment is shifting. Our development shifted, right? So I think that those articles are going to be now because of what you did on your Instagram
I
and your
totally
travels.
agree. My point was just I think we're still mid transition. We're not fully there yet.
Yeah,
It's
but
blinking.
we're getting there.
Okay, we're back again, and we're gonna move off of this topic because we can't risk another.
We have to get through the episode. Yeah, we don't have it in me. I gotta go grocery shopping. The next thing that we roll into is Lindsay and Carl, which again, it brings up this weird point that we touched on last episode that half, if not more, of this reunion was really spent on season 8.
Yeah.
And we're on season 9 for anyone who's not counting. So listen, they were such big stories. I get that we're touching on them again. And if we get another season though, we gotta get different stuff because these storylines are just there's no there anymore.
Yeah.
Because even with the Carl and Lindsay stuff, he said obviously like he does miss her friendship. And I think it showed again, this was the season of Lindsay. Like if you didn't like her, you probably do. I'm sure there's a handful of people out there that still don't like her. I really was in that camp for every season of Summer House. She never got me one season.
Yeah.
And then this season, and I swear to you, I was like, I will not flip on her. There's no way pregnancy could change someone this much or motherhood. And it has.
Yeah.
Good thing I'm hungry because I'm eating my words. And I thought it just showed extreme growth when Andy said, do you miss him? And she said, I'm not there yet.
Yeah.
Because if she was going to be so just indignant and stuck in where she was, she would have kind of given the answer that Paige gave about Craig. Like, he will never hear me say his name again. He's dead to me.
Yeah.
There is no moving past that, at least right now.
Yeah.
And for her to say, I'm not there yet means you're probably going to get there. And honestly, I do think they had a great friendship, and I'm hoping that that's something we get to see in a spinoff. Bravo.
Carl and Lindsay?
No, not that they just have a spinoff, but like, we keep joking that we want Lindsay to be one of the main characters on whatever the spinoff is. So I'm sure because of that, and Amanda as well, and Kyle comes with Amanda, and I feel like Carl comes with those two. I feel like he'd pop in, or you'd maybe see them just having a lunch, going for a walk around downtown, her strolling Gemma. And like, I could see them. I really could. I could see Lindsay in love and settled with like her daughter in some new relationship. Her and Turner have a good co-parenting situation. Which, by the way, I know everyone was so surprised by that, and Andy Cohen even said, I can't remember if it was on Watch What Happens Live, but he said, I thought the big takeaway from the reunion was that Turner and Lindsay aren't together. I'm like, you all must have seen stuff that we didn't see, because I never was surprised. Not for 1 second was I surprised that they weren't together. But at any rate, I could see her in this new chapter in her life with a guy and happy and stuff. And I could see her and Carl coming to a peaceful place and them being friends again. And Nat, you've said this from jump.
I know, but give me 12 hours.
Wow.
And like these things start kind of dawning on me. I don't know. Maybe we should start doing a right out, like fresh off the top, and then give us all a 12-hour turnaround. We meet back up for dinner, and I go, let me tell you, I got this whole thing wrong.
I overheard somebody at dinner talking about it.
Yeah.
Over a Caprese, I changed my mind about Carl and Lindsay.
No, I just thought about something. First of all, I think like we literally probably spent 30 minutes talking about Carl yesterday, which like I would just like to say off the top that like I am not going to do that today, because I'm realizing that like Carl just like his whole teeth thing, he's just made it another thing that is like, oh, now we're all, feel bad for him. I guess I should have told you. So he's the victim, but he should have told, he's taking accountability. And now it's garnering him another month. Like I always say, date one girl, it garners another 1 to 3 months of no one's asking if you're gay anymore. Yeah. Like there's just, and in that moment when I realized that he made that entire thing about this like long teeth journey that he's been on, that like no one thought to say, like, you've done next to nothing all year, and like here we are now spending a chunk of the reunion on something that happened last season or last season,
yeah,
and now
and was never brought up on the show.
Yeah, it never brought up on the show, and now talking about your tooth journey and like people feeling bad, and and Gabby, what Gabby said about you, but you've decided to forgive her for that, and you think she's and honestly, I thought that was authentic, or it should have been. It was exactly the way it should have been played. But so in that moment when Lindsay is answering him, absolutely, it could just be Lindsay being like, I'm not there yet. But Lindsay is also just like a PR mastermind and is watching this happen and going, here we go again. One more like thing that happened to Carl that now we're all like talking about and going, oh, sorry about that, Carl. Sorry we made fun of your teeth. And now we're all deciding like, I bet it was a bad dentist. I bet it was a sponsored thing gone wrong. I bet he was having a hard time. Like, it's just, she's probably watching this and going, no, I'm not quite there yet. As soon as you stop victimizing yourself and letting everything become an obstacle as to why you're not in the place that you're supposed to be, then we can talk. Because I spent a lot of my life that I could have been doing. My shit could have been slamming over here, doing this, that, and the other. But I was trying to help you get out of this like endless circle of victims of want. Yeah, exactly.
He's literally Pigpen with like, and we said this last night, and I do stand by it. Like, Carl is probably the nicest person on Bravo, period. Okay.
Yeah.
No one is debating that.
Yeah.
It's just, we want happiness for Carl. We want him to want the happiness for himself that we want for himself. And we get it. Life is hard. I have said on this show, like, this has been the hardest year that I can remember in years. Like, I can't even, if I told you what happens in one day, it's bananas. You're like, no. You mean that happened over the span of like a month, right? I'm like, no, about 6 hours, maybe 4.
Yeah.
So it's like, I understand life being hard and kicking you in the teeth. That's not an attack on you, Carl, okay? Like, I get that. But at some point, you have to reach for the better feeling thought. You gotta choose joy, or you are just going to become. You actually brought this up last night, and I thought it was such a good point. Like, it becomes so easy to just be like, well, that's just me. Like, I'm just the unlucky one, or
that's why I'm not there yet.
And I just will never take it off, or whatever the thing is, right? Whatever your cloud is. And the more you realize, like, wait, no, I put the weight on. I could take the weight off. Like, I could do this, or I got fired. That doesn't mean that there isn't even a better job out there. Yeah,
I didn't even like that job. Like,
right. That's exactly right. And I just so badly want for Carl to pull himself out of this want.
Yeah.
Everything happens to me, like, just sad state, because he is the nicest person on Bravo.
Yeah.
We just need him to know that. To me, he feels like an over-therapized, like, okay, we've done it. We have pulled the meat off the bone. We've pulled the bone off the bone. Okay, we're at the marrow. You've stretched, you've game planned, you have to get in the game.
Yeah.
We're done with watching tapes of what other players are doing. Like, it's now or never, dude.
Yeah.
And it's not now or never. I just mean, like, as a viewer, it is, because it's frustrating to watch.
But on the other end of that, has Carl figured out that this just is a way to keep the stone rolling down? Like, has he figured out that this is the way to, like, not have to do much but still become an empathetic cause? And we're watching him on his journey. The journey continues on, and like, trying to get himself a way to roll on to the next season without having to do a ton. He's going to need some money to fund clearly his hopes and dreams of horrible business ideas. And, did we talk about, I can't remember if it got cut out because of something, whatever, but like you talking about how Carl should really be doing a brand, a non-alc lifestyle brand, as opposed to I just can't remember if that ever aired.
No, it was like last episode, and I thought it was so brilliant.
But did it air, though?
Yes.
Like, did it? Okay.
Yeah. He said, like, he should be the, like, Tony Robbins of, like, sober lifestyle and how to make it work for you, and tips and tricks. And like, you know what I'm saying? Just like,
or just like the Lululemon brand of non-alc, like whether it's going to, like, planned events, planned hikes, planned yoga, just with like a gang of people that are all, it's not about going to a bar and sitting down and ordering a non-alcoholic drink. It's about, you don't like alcohol just not being a part of, like, everyone else in the world is enjoying all these things. We're all going to enjoy those same exact things, just sober. So making it bigger than a non-alcoholic bar, which is an oxymoron. Is that the right?
Yeah.
Okay. So whatever, like I just thought like, oh, duh. And then the other thing that we saw, I think we saw a TikTok of a kid going, why is he doing this in Brooklyn? Why isn't he doing this in Salt Lake City?
Dude, I pooped in my pants. We both were like, we're the dumbest idiots. We do a show where we talk way too much about stupid things and this in like 2.5 seconds. It was like,
I'm still not recovered.
Yeah.
you're not going to be. We saw this a week and a half ago. Like,
You're still pooping your pants.
it's still coming.
The amount of soda shops that are in Salt Lake that like even I now, because I love soda,
Salt
I'm like,
Lake's all trendy and hot right now. Like, dude.
it's blinking.
Do we just keep, I don't know.
Okay.
Are we ready?
I'm like the last person I feel like that still is like out here pounding aspartame or whatever and living to fight another day.
I'm definitely allergic to it. Fun fact about me.
Right. So like if I'm this like Los Angeles girl that's like, we need more soda shops, then like, just move to Salt Lake where like the soda shop is the only shop.
Yeah.
And
you can barely get a coffee there.
Yeah.
So
and then,
Carl would kill.
Dude, and think about how like it's just so gorgeous there. Think of all the like to build on that brand of it just not being a bar, even though in Salt Lake you could get away with it only being a bar because it would be that big enough. But to really make it that lifestyle brand there, where like there's just this gorgeous backdrop to like all the lifestyle things that you could be doing all together, living that sober life.
And you know how he could do it? He could take Mike's idea where he takes the soft bar van, outfits it as something to live in as he drives across the country to Salt Lake. And then he lives there. He buys a homestead, buys a piece of property, lives in the van.
Becomes a Mormon.
He's doing, while he's getting soft bar up and running.
You got your biggest investor right there.
And as it grows,
Church.
he builds an actual home on the property, but he always keeps the Airstream because he wants to remember his roots.
Yeah.
That's your show, Carl.
Carl, come on, dude. Like,
Also, it doesn't always have to be a show, Carl. That's your life.
Oh yeah, sure.
also
Or
this-
that's his
totally,
YouTube
because
channel.
that's going to garner you way more money than a Bravo show ever is.
Yeah.
I think
Also,
we have
if this
all.
YouTube thing doesn't work out, I might be like a second life consultant. You know, you're having struggles and you need a business idea. At me.
I feel like this is one time where we've all agreed that to the same thing, that for at least right now, Carl should not be on television.
Yeah.
Okay, so then our next up at bat is all the Kyle and Amanda stuff, which my biggest complaint about all of this, or where I was the most confused, is Bravo, what you had this massive conversation that they had on tape. You filmed the fact that she said she was 1 foot out the door and it never made it to air. Like that wasn't a big enough storyline.
I think somebody mentioned this in the comments about it was about the Valley, but I had mentioned that how Jesse and Nia and Danny and Zach went out to the
cornhole place.
How they had gone out to just went out like the night before. And my first reaction was like, oh, cool, they hang out off camera. Like, that's so neat. And then it took me a second to be like, oh, wait a minute. How did I see that if they were off camera, dum-dum? I figured it out. Can't get past me. So, and I had mentioned that like, oh, why didn't we see that? You know, and we saw all this other stupid shit. And somebody was like, they had the theory that they had a feeling that they split the cast up to kind of do some tests to see what would vibe better. And this group had a good time and there wasn't any drama and it was just classic old friends having a blast. And this group was like nightmare, right? The beach group was in the kind of nightmare city. And they chose the drama because we like the drama. So there's something in this that I was like, I wonder if Kyle's gotten to that point where it's like, oh, maybe it is time to grow up. They had a pretty decent conversation, it seems like. She was like, yo, I'm out. I'm fucking out if shit doesn't change. And I know people are like, oh, they're not going to make it. I think there's something about these two. I see them old as shit together and through like a bunch of stuff. I don't know. I think that it just wasn't dramatic enough. She put her foot down. He said, okay. Like we talked about a little bit yesterday, like the first part of this season, Kyle was very, very attentive and like coming
fill
home
your
and
water
like, yeah,
bottles.
like very sweet. And Kyle was kind of different this year too. Like Lindsay was, so like it might have just not been dramatic. And so that's one thing. The other thing is producers call Bravo execs and they're like, okay, so Kyle and Amanda might be getting divorced. It's not that, but like there might be something, we could turn it into something. And they were like, don't. Everyone on the Valley is ready to murder each other. There's 17 divorce attorneys involved. Jesse Lawley's repping him. Like, please no divorce story. Yeah, we need a fun and little game, like some like dumb boy drama. We're at capacity on the divorce storylines, like, and that could have been another.
Totally. No.
Where they're like, yeah, we can't. We're not doing it.
Yeah.
And then it just didn't turn into anything other than, again, Kyle being receptive to that and saying like, okay.
And Amanda does keep saying like, this was our best summer. So clearly he changed his tune enough over the 2 months that they were filming, or 6 weeks, that it wasn't a story. Yeah. So yeah. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for answering my question.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, this whole season was a little weird if you look at it when all it's over.
Yeah.
In a arc. It was Jesse. It was just Jesse. Like, sitting there, people are like, oh, Gabby didn't bring anything, and Wes didn't, and fucking Carl didn't bring. Nobody did. Like, nobody really brought anything. The whole season was, here's a story about Jesse and Lexi, and then a ton of like C and D stories. There wasn't even really a B. I guess Sierra might have been the B story, I guess.
But she was attached to the A story.
Yeah,
so,
it was weird. It was like A2 or something. Like, it was just a weird, there was this one storyline that didn't have a ton of meat, and then a bunch of like, oh, well, we got to give them something.
I can't remember where I read it, if it was one of our people who had commented this or read it somewhere else, but somebody, I guess, was annoyed about hearing about Jesse and Lexi. And my first thought was, but that's the only thing on the menu. So like, I get that you might be tired of eating it, but then like, we got to go to a different restaurant, because they're really, what, to your point, that's all this show really serves up this season. And the other frustrating thing that they, the Paige of it all, we kept saying Paige had a really off summer. We know the reason why, but we already knew they broke up. It was kind of stale at the point where we're seeing this information, because there was no new information, and she was just really, anxiety ridden and sad and stressed all summer, which is not her character. And I don't mean character on the show. I mean character as a person. Like, I don't think that's who she walks around life as. So it was kind of hard to get down with that, because it was just these isolated moments of her being super anxious or super sad in her bedroom. So it was just such a disjointed season across the board. And I know we keep bringing this up, but like, I can't help but wonder, like, what the hell is season 10 going to look like? Because this is a great series that they have. Like, they got to figure something out.
It's kind of like and like, this is just me just always trying to figure out like why two things aren't connecting, or like how they would if one thing would have been different. I wonder if like a lot of this show is centered around Paige. I think that Bravo wants to make a meal out of her for like the rest of her life. Like you said, like before we were even doing Summer House, I think we were talking about, it might have even been on Court, when you were just like, they have found a diamond in the rough in this girl. She could take Bravo far. I think that they should, I hope they recognize what they have here, because she's going to have a long career.
She's got the magic that Bethany Frankel did. She's got that.
Yeah. It's like just a very, very small handful. I was blinking again. Paige, obviously, one thing I noticed is that she has, like, being the biggest star on Bravo, she should have a product. And she has never, as far as I can tell, every single thing that she's done has been on her own. She's timed things pretty perfectly, where like Bravo, I don't know if they can take any of her money from anything she's doing anywhere else. Even this line of her, she has a pajama line now.
Oh, I was wondering, what is her so she did
a pajama line. Yeah,
that's sweet. I like that.
Yeah, which for her to drop this line after, like, right after the reunion, right, it's just timed so well. And her giggly stuff is maybe like how she dropped that when they're maybe thinking about this spinoff and like how much is it worth to you because I can do this on my own, and like I don't know, I think a lot of this, like the Ariana effect, maybe a lot of things are circling around this person, and it's coming and it can affect like who's going where, what's next season. Well, we're still waiting to figure out where we're putting Paige, if she's going to choose us, if we can make her the deal that she wants, and whatever. So I don't know. That's a wild thing that I just think like could be a component in all the weird stuff. Because with Amanda and Kyle, I don't even remember how I correlated this, but just like Amanda and Kyle, if they shot that stuff during the year, maybe they were gonna keep that for a later thing that they're doing. Maybe now that's up in the air for whatever reason. So it's like they're bringing that out now, and now they've kind of got to sing for their supper at a reunion that they weren't even sure if they were going to be back at Summer House next year because of this other thing. But like maybe it's looking like, oh, it's still up in the air, so we need to bring something to tell you guys we're having issues in our marriage. We're at a turning point. We're at a crossroads, and like. And then it's a whole will they won't they for next season. Then. Yeah,
is this because Mike works in reality TV? Like, is this something that are they that well thought out, Mike? Like, are they that? Oh, we have this seedling that we're seeing here, and in a year and a half, we're going to use that for a spinoff. Because to me, I always get the idea that they're flying by the seat of their pants.
Not a spinoff. I just want to clarify that. I don't mean a spinoff. I mean like that could have been they might have chosen to dig in on the Lexi and Jesse issue because they at that time think that Lexi and Jesse are going to be the people that are going into the next season. But now, if something is still up in the air and they don't know if they're going to be able to keep Paige on the network, so then if there's no Paige on that spinoff, then like is there really a spinoff with everyone else? Like. As a combination of people, yeah, they could all do great. If Paige isn't on that, then like, does that warrant a spinoff? Then like warrant a spinoff? Like,
I feel like it would. Like, I do think,
but like, if you had Paige 1 minute, and your whole thing was built around like she's your anchor on it.
She's your home run.
Yeah,
I still think you could get a run in. It might not be a grand slam, but if you had Amanda, Kyle, Sierra, Lindsay, you don't think so?
I don't think enough people in the age bracket that they're probably trying to appeal to I don't think they're watching Lindsay and Kyle and maybe not Carl. Sierra is I think that Sierra is in a mega funk. I think she's got a bad attitude right now for a million reasons that would give somebody a bad attitude. I don't think people have confidence in like there being enough lure there with just that group if Paige is not a part of that. And for her to drop her own show and see how well it's doing, like she got close to 400,000 views on one of, and it will get probably 1 million more by the end of because it's just a new show. I just
looked that up, heard their YouTube show. Yeah. They try new things. Yeah, I just literally went and looked up all the, like, to see what are they doing.
Yeah.
One got, the 330, 340 something. And the others are in the just 150 to 200K range.
Yeah.
Which is less than I would have thought.
But as it goes along, those are standalone things. Those are evergreen. Those aren't like, here's what's going on this week on Giggly Squad. It's like,
or like
Hannah and Paige
try things with Tina Fey.
Yeah.
Or,
and once you start, once you get a new viewer for the latest episode, then they go back and watch the previous 7 episodes, So like that's just going to build and build, and that's all that money is theirs. It seems like they hired their own crew, and I don't know. They could have had investors. I don't know, but like it just
doesn't seem like it.
They certainly don't need to.
They hired that's what they say in the first episode. They're like, no, we just hired our friend. Like I don't even think they hired. I think it was their friend that was like, yo,
I can help do this.
No, I don't think. I think it might have. I could be totally talking out of my ass. They either had the idea and hired their friend who was like, oh, I could just film you guys and edit it totally. Or it was like their assistant or somebody that was like, why don't I just film you guys doing dumb shit we put on YouTube? And they were like, yeah, cool, whatever.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know. Like, yeah.
So I don't know if any of this has to do with anything, but it's just weird. So, okay, aside from that, with the Kyle and Amanda stuff, I also just like to not talk about just sort of like the what's going on behind the scenes. Why is the story coming to fruition now? But just as a note on like whatever they're dealing with, I thought it was interesting when like Amanda to put all of that out at the reunion, and she hadn't really talked about it at all during the year. Like they had touched on like her maybe not wanting to get pregnant right now, but it was really just like medication specific. It was very much like her mental health. She didn't like, we made fun of Kyle for his DJing and whatever, but it was never like a thing where it was like with somber or serious music playing while she told us about he is the forever child who will not grow up and I don't have a real partner here and whatever. It seemed to me here that that's what she was kind of leaning more into, of just like, this guy is not ready. I don't know if he ever will be. I've been ready. I've got, yes, the thing, but she didn't even touch about the mental health stuff again. Or if she did, it was so light and rolled right into him.
Andy asked if she was in a good place mental health wise, and she was like, yeah, I'm feeling great. And then he was like, he followed that up with, do you feel like if you had a baby, that would affect all that?
And she even said, I found a medication that I can be pregnant on. So like really cleared it up that like at this point it is all on this motherfucker. And
go ahead.
I just started to think about how she kind of brought up like, which something that I had never heard before. She said, now I'm just waiting to sell Loverboy. And he didn't look like a total deer in headlights, but there definitely was a partner at the very least. Like, I don't think he was ready for her to say out there, because there is there's a perception shift. Like once you're like, oh no, this company's on the build, it's on the rise, they're putting everything into it. The second that you hear that CEO, founder, owner, whatever his role is now looking to sell, I don't know what changes in the business world, but like now you've got a different group of people that are interested in your, like I think that she might have brought something up that maybe they could have talked about it, and he could have wanted that, or he really couldn't have. There's something about her doing this bikini line and the way that he has acted this entire time about it. This is not a new idea. She's had this idea of wanting to do this for years, several seasons now. And we've watched him basically just tear her apart, that like she wasn't being a team player and it was really all about him. And that's why so many people for so long hated Kyle. And I think that right now he's going to have to deal with because people like Amanda. Women are very pro Amanda. They are going to want to buy her things. I don't think Kyle has garnered a lot of people that want to buy Loverboy because it's coming from Kyle. I will go look at a bikini that is by Amanda because I like Amanda and I feel good about supporting Amanda. Kyle was never able to get that under control. His childishness, his massive competitive side, him and Craig are very similar in that competition. Like that's why they had that big beef, because they were both just and I understand there's differences, but I'm just saying that's a thing. I think that Kyle is probably wildly uncomfortable with the fact that his company is still not where he wants it to be. And Amanda's company could actually, if it does set fire, for any normal people with no issues that are a good team, it would only be great that company does well. Cause one team, one dream, building the fortune. Now we can quit other things. We can focus on the family and whatever. But I think that Kyle is going through a mad midlife crisis right now. He's holding on to his youth, by his clawing off a cliff to hold on. When he says that he really looks towards the summer as he says it's his downtime, but it's not. It's still work. He's still hawking Loverboy the whole time. He's still emailing all day. He never stops. He's still up at 7 a.m.
He says it's for him to blow off steam, which is different.
Right. But it's still the same in that blow off steam, but you're still working like a madman and still
Kyle just needs to recognize that. When I used to wait tables, I waited tables at a Brazilian restaurant, and this sweet server, Oliver, used to always say to me, no one could, if you spoke Portuguese as your first language, saying court is very hard. So he would, when it would get really busy, he would come up to me and he would go, Kurtz, now is the moment.
Yeah.
And I just thought that was this, I knew he meant oh, we're going to make money now. All the customers are here. But I just thought it was such a sweet sentiment. Right, now is the moment, not tomorrow, not I get that I don't want to be waiting tables, that I want to be acting and writing and doing all this stuff, but now is the moment I'm in. So I have to enjoy it, even if I'm at a job that I don't like, because this is the only moment I'm guaranteed, the one that I'm living in.
Yeah.
And I think that Kyle needs to understand that now is the moment. So I get that you're front loading your company so that you could be free later on, or it's not going to it doesn't matter. For someone who has an entrepreneurial spirit, you'll sell Loverboy, and then 6 months later, you're going to get bored. Someone's going to come to you. They're going to have an idea. Oh my God, this could be triple the success that Loverboy had. And then you're on that hamster wheel all over again. And it's fine to be entrepreneurial. It's fine to want to build things and really love what you do and be passionate about it. But you also have to love your family and be passionate about your significant other if you want that to thrive.
Yeah.
If you don't give your relationship the same energy and attention that you give your business, one's going to succeed maybe, and one's definitely going to fail.
Yeah.
Because you just can't think that she's going to be okay to have dinner with someone who's inhaling it and then going right back into work to respond to more emails. It's like, what about me, bro? To get your attention, do I have to email you? And I think that he hopefully, because like Mike said, I agree with this. I really do think they're in love with each other. I think they have that magic combination where it's like, no, I like you and I am sexually attracted to you and we have great sexual chemistry. Like,
Kyle, I think, feels that way. I
no,
think
Amanda
that
said it. She's like, she had said something
she
that
said recently that they have great sexual chemistry.
she was just like, when she was talking to the girls about their sex life, I don't know if this is too much to say, but whatever, she said it on the show. She was like, every single time we have sex, we both climax together. Like, he is the best sexual partner I've ever
When
had.
did she say that?
Maybe last summer or something. But I never forgot her saying this.
Yeah.
And when they got together, you could see they were stooping like, rabbits. And so my point is, I do think they have both of those things. I think they have a good intimate connection, and I think that they really like each other. And because of that, I hope and would be putting my money on the fact that Kyle will eventually get himself together and realize this company isn't going to be at your funeral. This company's not going to love you back. Like, I get it. You're passionate about it, but like, aren't you more passionate about the woman you married?
He's not going to get it together. It's just the tale as old as time.
So then you don't think they're going to make it? You just said you think they're going to make it.
No, I do, but I think that there's going to be different, like, I just think they're going to have to work through a bunch of shit, which as does every couple who lasts decades and decades. But like this story, this like, oh, I'm working for my family, I'm building up a thing, oh, I'm going to do it now so we can have a thing. And then 40 years goes by and you never did, or you accidentally had kids, but you forgot about them. And like the wife is at home. Like this has been going on forever. It's been going on for thousands of years. It's probably gone for, I don't know if it's thousands because these new kids might stop everything, but like, this is not a new story, you know what I mean? So and now Amanda's getting into the fucking business. So like, cool, Kyle stops, and then, but now
but
you think
she's doing it in a totally different way. She doesn't own the company.
Which could be very problematic, just because like perception is perception, and like no one knows exactly like what she like who did what and how, like her role in it. Is she really the owner? How much of a percentage does she have? Whatever. All they're going to see is that this bikini line, and it could totally crash and burn, and nobody gives a shit about it. But if there's a chance that it could do really well, really quickly, and then there is something to do that to. Like your partner who is very alpha and very competitive and has shown that and has shown his ass a lot of times to be like not really on board with what you're doing, and he wants you to get on board with him. I think it could cause even more problems if it is successful and Loverboy is still in this sort of like, it just seems to sort of be in a purgatory. And maybe it's not really, but we've all as viewers been led to believe that it is like just sort of not where it's supposed to be. And he's leaned into that, maybe for a storyline to make it, to raise awareness towards it. I don't know. I just think that there's so many dynamics. There's so many like interpersonal and like already in the game of like that everything's televised. You spend 10 years in this business doing that, and you know that everybody's watching, you know that everyone's gonna have something to say about it. Kyle is just he's the last person that's going to be immune to those things. So like there's just so many more problems that can come along that are ego driven in this thing. No matter how perfect they are, they're dealing with a whole environment of things that just like everyday couples aren't.
So you don't think they're gonna make it if you're betting?
I think that she knows more than she has ever known. She has risen to a comfort level more than she ever has as long as I've been watching her. And maybe even watching Paige leave a high profile relationship, and that Paige is getting all these offers and whatever. And like, I just don't know if like Kyle is offering the same pizzazz as he once did if they don't continue to be on shows. Like if they don't get like, I think that she is getting that bug of like, I don't need to deal with this. I am this old. I've been doing this for this long. I like how Paige talks about just everything kind of changing in your 30s, like realizing it's a whole new zero fucksness that like you didn't know was coming around the bend, and now here it is. And I think that they have a whole slew of issues that like the everydayers that is going to be heightened. It's the same ones that we all deal with, but like on a smaller scale. Yeah. I think it's going to be touch and go for these two.
Okay, stay tuned. Okay, so then our last act of this snooze fest, pun intended, of a reunion is us just, again, revisiting we opened with Paige and Craig. We're closing with the Paige and Craig breakup, essentially. And I really feel like from everything that was said in this particular segment, we've talked about this before, like on Southern Charm. Why do the guys go after Craig so hard? Like they're just jealous because he's successful. And they always do try to give him these little knocks of like, that was your business partner's idea, or you don't own the entire company, you just own a part of it, or you're just the fate. Like they're always giving these little digs to him and saying that, like you are a liar, you are a storyteller and you are bending the truth. And we never had that kind of fully painted picture of why they were doing it. It kind of came off as jealousy, which, by the way, they could be both. Two things can be true.
Yeah,
they can be a little bit jealous, and they also can be saying things that are factual.
Yeah.
And I just feel like from everything that was said in that last segment of the reunion, I really have no doubts that no, Craig, you got kicked out of the wedding. Like you do take an extreme artistic license with expressing how the Spritz Wars went down, how you bought the ring, but we know you didn't actually buy the ring. How, you know what I'm saying? How like you had this idea, but also it's like a village that came together to do the idea, but you're taking full credit for it. And I don't have any reservations anymore about understanding that I really like Craig. This doesn't mean that I like him less, but when I was Watch What Happens Live with after the reunion with Kristen Cavallari and Amanda, Andy said, like, you've been friends with Craig for a long time. Does he lie? And she was like, I love him. He's a good buddy of mine. He lies. Like he does.
Yeah.
And so I think it's just like, Craig, now you're at the point where it's just like, okay, yeah, I exaggerate shit. Like I'm not, okay. Like I've got enough of the truth there that's where I'm going with these stories, and own it and you're free, because everyone has come down from people who are actively your friends and like you.
Which part should he own? I'm a storyteller and an exaggerator, or a lie? Like because now it's oh yeah, he lied. I love him, but he's a lie. Oh, he's great, but he does lie. And now, oh, he should own it and say I'm an exaggerator. If he's going to own it, then he needs to be like, I'm a liar. I'm a liar. Cute, I'm a liar. And now, like, this is the weirdest. I've never met someone who is a liar, and everyone loves the dude. Like, and I don't hate Craig. I don't know if I love him, but I don't hate him. So I'm equally confused by what, dude? This guy, he is a fucking liar. He's kind of a douche. He's a tool. He's chauvinist. Like he's not anything good, but a little charming. And what else? Is there something else?
He's handsome.
Okay.
So cute.
But he's also like, people could be like, oh, I'm not into that kind of, like, so he's not like, David Beckham.
But listen, someone could look at Brad Pitt and be like, he's not my type, but there are people you can say they are empirically good looking. So I just think that Craig is an empirically good-looking person. Okay. He's not like a type.
I love that you put Brad Pitt as the one that like, oh, some people look at Brad Pitt and be like, he's not that great looking.
No, that's not what I said. I said someone could look at Brad Pitt and say, no, he is good looking. It's just not my type. Like I like tall, dark, and handsome, and he's blonde hair, blue eyes.
Okay, so Craig's handsome and charming.
And very loyal to women.
I think
even if it's not the kind of loyalty that every woman wants, because of some other women want loyalty in every single avenue. But one of the biggest, the oldest tale of time is women getting cheated on all the time. And that has never been a thing for him.
He's loyal, he's handsome, he's charming. How many pieces of pie come in a pie? If we're going to go with your,
8
it's
pieces
good
of
to
pie.
go. Okay, so this motherfucker is not doing good.
Yeah.
We're at 5 really bad
He's
pieces.
successful. He's on a TV show. There's not just, he doesn't just have those three things.
But
Like
these are
there are more
qualities
things.
of a good person being on a TV
Oh, a
show
good person
and being
or a
handsome.
good character?
We're just talking about like everyone's like, oh, I love Craig. He's a liar. Tee hee hee. And he's all these things, but we love it. We still like, so why? Why do people love this dude if he's more bad than good? Like handsome doesn't count as a good quality. Like loyal, yes.
Maybe we're underestimating like how much people will let things pass if you're charming and good looking. And it's not, sure, being charming, I guess, is a nice quality to have because it means you're like pleasant to be around, maybe, right?
Yeah.
You could also be a shithead, a philanderer, and all these things if you're charming. A lot of charming people are. That's what gets them into trouble. But like to Mike's point, like no, being good looking is not some like bonus point to get you into heaven. So it could just be as we talk about it all the time that like the Bravo sphere is a really habitable, sorry, I'll be okay, environment for
Assholes.
someone like Craig.
Because we also talk about how like Summer House is all pro Team Paige and like putting her in a good light and shitting on Craig. And then the other show is shitting on Paige. But we've never said they're pro Craig. We've always said they're shitting on Craig. We started this with you being like, oh, they're always picking on Craig and shit. So like his own crew is shitting on him, but also like, oh, Craig, little punch in there. Craig, he's a liar. This dude's crazy, man. But like, so his guys are shitting on him, good or bad. The other, like everyone's shitting on Craig, but most people love Craig. What is happening? Is this guy a witch? Is he a fucking like is he, I don't understand it.
I wonder
because Paige hates him for this, just the one thing I am convinced now that he could have been like, yeah, I don't think she was cheating. That's not a thing. We just fucking broke up, whatever. He could have run with the whole she left me, sad poor me, and just done the I'm not cheating, or she's not, I don't think she's cheating. And they could have been friends like that. I think that was the tipping point for Paige to realize like this guy is a piece of shit, and all the things that I did for him, lied for him, stuck out for him because he was my boyfriend. And I don't think that I don't regret it. It was like, that's what you do for your boyfriend.
That's who I am in a
relationship. Who I am. But now he's not my boyfriend. So like, and I am that girl. I did that. I asked him for just one beep, 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 and that's it. One tweet, whatever.
I'll even write it for you.
I'll
Copy
write
and paste.
it like easy peasy. And he was like, he straight up told her to fuck off. He told her to fuck off. He didn't say, listen, I've had a conversation and I just don't think. He said this. He took a dick pic and shaped it in a middle finger and fucking sent it to her. And
Lucky for
you
him,
don't
a
do
dong
that.
and the middle finger are the same shape.
Yeah, and you don't do that to Paige DeSorbo unless you want to get treated like you're getting treated now. So like, again, I sit here today not hating Craig, but I should. He's the type of dude that I should hate, and I did hate, as we've talked about many moons ago. We used to get in like it would get uncomfortable around here when we watched Summer House in the early days because I hated this dude.
You know what I think happened for me personally? I will just talk about my Craig journey. Paige gave him so much street cred and helped him for me and really helped him. He said it on the show. This is not my opinion. He was like, Paige was my reason to find a healthier relationship with alcohol. And also it seems like drugs as well. So that just by way of not drinking to oblivion and getting into crazy fights with people and all of this, he was coming off so much more of like this respectable man that has, I get it, we all have our thing that trips us up. It's not our best quality, but like he healed that. He's done work on himself. And now he's in this relationship that does seem as though this is why he built this really charming home. And, and because he is so loyal and they did make such a handsome couple, it just painted this picture, as Andy said on the reunion, like it just goes to show you never know what's going on in people's, behind closed doors. And I feel as though since the masks are off, and Paige is like, listen, if we're going to talk about Erica, we're going to talk about everybody. And he wouldn't have my back. So I'll let you know, I had your back when we were dating. It's over. You clearly didn't want to repay the favor. So yes, I would love to clear up the record. He was absolutely asked to leave their wedding. I said the next day, you need to send Mr. and Mrs. Batula and call them, give them an apology, send a text apology. You were out of line like I've never seen at a wedding. It's embarrassing. It's also heartbreaking that you acted that way. And we have to believe, because we've seen it even when they first started dating, that like he would drink and get out of hand with people and just be too aggressive. And again, he obviously has healed a lot of that behavior. But what I feel like she was communicating in this moment is that, yeah, maybe he's not getting hammered and acting a fool, but I don't know if the root cause is healed, because he still did have an issue with my success. He still did have an issue with, she said, once again, his ego had to get all over this. And I feel like maybe that's the real issue of that's turning us off a little bit right now, because without Paige as his girlfriend, I just feel a little bit more like what Mike's saying. And I do like him. I don't think throw the baby out with the bathwater.
I gotta stop you though. You started this with, I love Craig. So like, that's what got me like, not go, but like, and I'm sitting here being like, I don't hate the dude in my shit, but
I thought I was like, no, I still like him. But if I said I love him, then okay.
But we
being
should
hyperbolic.
like him,
I
love
do
him,
still
whatever.
like him.
Like, but why?
I
Like,
don't think because I
why?
don't
It's
because
so
I think
weird. I'm not shitting on you.
No,
like
no.
I'm here with you, trying to be like, I don't get it. Because like I don't hate him as much as I used to, and that's shit. Because to me, he is you are who I thought you were. That's a football reference. You guys aren't gonna get it. All my football fans out there.
I think he has enough redeemable. I don't think he's some dark sociopath of a person. It's kind of like how I feel about Mauricio on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. I definitively feel like he cheated on his wife. I still think that and I think right now he's having some weird midlife crisis, skiing with girls in Aspen in bikinis and stuff like that.
I watched enough Beverly Hills that we're close to a fight right now. Don't be talking shit about my boy.
Okay, well, have you been following
His wife
him recently?
is a Looney Tune. Yeah, I have. He's having a good time. He's divorced. Get some.
Right. So I didn't say oh my God, you're a degenerate. I just said is he having a bit of a midlife crisis? Yeah, it's giving midlife crisis to me personally. Okay. So all I'm saying is I'm using this as an example. I still like Mauricio. I don't think he's some bad person. Just like I don't think Craig is rotten to the core. I think with some good therapy, and if he wants to be honest with himself, he could be a G. I just need him to work a few things out. Mike and I are in a fight.
It's all right.
I think that Paige is mad at herself that she let this all go on for as long as she did. I've said before, and not even just last night, which is obviously when we're redoing this here, but I really stand by that. For so long, I gave Craig all the credibility he had because of her. I thought, no way. And that is me being super naive and putting my own wants first and putting blinders on to the fact that she is just a girl like anyone else. And she's just on a show and she's done everything so good. She's read everyone so good. She's a perfect messenger, all the things. She's the future of Bravo. That I didn't take into account that she's just a person who, whether it's because she has love blinders on or whether it's because she's a strategist and is this relationship is really helping her move up and up and up and get to those next levels, that she just decided at some point that the juice was worth the squeeze. And then one day it all caught up with her and all the things that she decided to turn a blind eye to. If this is the case, everyone, I know that there's a ton of Craig fans that are Paige haters that are like, she's the worst. She's an opportunist. She was cheating on him. That's why this whole thing happened. And now she's trying to backpedal out of it in some way. I really have no idea. But for me, I think that everything that she possibly turned a blind eye to caught up with her on the day that she finally decided that no longer did he serve her, no longer did she felt that she did not need him anymore and parted ways with him for whatever reason that was. Then to look to him and ask him for help which she does not ever want to do. She doesn't want to ask anyone for help, much less a man, much less an ex-boyfriend who she is, for all intents and purposes, has stated always that all ex-boyfriends are dead to her and she doesn't have any plans for them moving forward. And what she needed, not only did she have to ask, she got denied. And I think that her rage overcame her. And I think that her performance at this reunion, a lot of women are going to be like, hell yeah, stick it to him, fuck that guy. They're going to be on the younger scale. I think there's at a certain midpoint of one generation and up is going to see it clearly for what it was, is that this person served you until he didn't. And now you're pissed. And now you're going to take it all, just like how we're pissed at Lexi, like you to break up with him twice. First performance was great. First breakup was great. Now you want him dead. Now you can't even speak his name. Like, it is just so, to me, looks like a very human reaction to just being so pissed that things, like choices that you made have caught up with you now. Because as I said, I never thought she would be with someone who would be so wasted at a wedding that he's kicking over chairs and yelling at people at her best friend's wedding. And for what they led us to believe, one of Kyle's very good friends. I don't think that they ever really were that good of friends. Even if they could have been, they're too similar in too many like competitive arena areas. I think they were always going to be like looking at each other with a little side eye. They'd have like a great night. And then the next day be like, yeah, but he said this one thing. I need to get my guy on the phone and see if we're doing that too, or whatever. I think that was their dynamic. So I think that she lost herself in this moment at the reunion when she went so hard on him and told all the secrets that she's been keeping. But like, I didn't see that so much. It's like, we always knew that Craig had these things about him. And like, we decided to accept him anyways, largely because she endorsed him.
I didn't feel like she told all these secrets. I feel like she said the thing about the wedding.
Why
Why did
that need to come out now?
Andy asked.
Okay, but like, you've lied about it continuously for years, and now today you've decided I can't hold on to this secret anymore.
What he said was,
"Would you like to clear up the record?
Are you now willing to say what happened?" Like, everybody knew what happened. Yeah, she was just the last one, probably with Craig, being like, "Oh, it wasn't that. What like."
Yeah, and she answered it. I'm not
Would
mad.
You think that they didn't talk about that beforehand? You think she didn't go to Andy and say, "I'm ready to talk about this," or like there's just
either way,
so much of like.
My point is, I don't think she sat there and question after question aired their dirty laundry. I think she answered the questions that she was asked. I don't think she went out of her way.
You don't think she knew that question was coming and was ready to go?
No, it's irrelevant to my point, is what I'm saying. Like, yeah, sure, they knew the questions beforehand. Didn't that's not relevant to what I'm saying. I'm saying I don't think she sat on that couch and like answered that question and was like, and you know what? The cameras weren't rolling for this, but we were at a wedding in Ibiza and he also got kicked out of there. Like, I don't think she dumped out everything that she ever maybe covered for him for all of his bad behavior. I think we got a lot of it during the season. Like when she was in bed talking with Sierra, I think she's been kind of saying this stuff along the way.
To me, every move that she made during that part of her on that couch with all cameras and all eyes on her when she's telling this story, it was so pre-planned that she was about to unleash this whole thing and tell you who this guy really is. And all I saw in that moment was a girl who had lied about that for 3 years or however long it was. And was now scorned, and now she's going to unload on you. And I personally just think how you stayed with that dude, if he is all those things that you said, like how you ever thought you could marry him, how you ever thought he would be a good dad, if he is as horrible as you painted him out to be in this moment, I don't know how she doesn't see that falls not as much because he's the person living that. But it falls very hard on her and her own choices too. And it, like I said, is just not the girl, not the hero that I have been treating her as, and that's on me. I should not make her a hero. But that's what we get caught up in sometimes in TV. That's the whole beauty of like the television screen, is that it's a life that's not our own. It's a life to aspire to. And it just sort of like, that's no longer for me. It doesn't mean I just still don't think she's an incredible entertainer and I will follow her till the ends. But like that changed a little something, I think, for probably more than just me. I can't be the only one that was like...
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's literally why I spent the day with a realtor looking at locations for Lexi's boot camp, but then ended up not signing the lease.
Exactly.
Like, that close.
Exactly.
I think the tipping point for her for Paige was the like, and listen, I'm with, I think it's probably a few people, but Nettie and a couple of, they're like, said what you said, like, oh, you're the strong woman, and the second you need a man's help and he doesn't help you, you throw a fucking temper tantrum. Definitely. But I think that's what's happening here. Like, that's if Craig had to have said that one, like, no, I don't think she's cheating. I don't think that's what's going on here. And then nip that in the bud once or twice, whatever, and then ran with his like, oh, she's a sob story. Like, I think we'd be fine. I think they would be fine. Like, I think she'd be like, whatever, fucking baby. You know, like, it'd be funny. They might be able to rekindle a friendship. I don't know. But I think that it's also funny that like the shit that she's bringing up, not funny, haha, but like, is when he was drunk or you know, like hadn't gotten sober yet. So like what happened when Craig got sober did anything change? Like, what, you know? So she's kind of, why are you bringing up shit from the past kind of deal?
Well, again, she was asked about it. I don't think she brought it up out of nowhere.
Listen, but you don't think Paige is like now going out of her way to shit on this to make him look like a fucker?
No. Yeah, I'm sure that like,
and she's mad about
his name
like
gets brought up.
This is a thing now. It's not like oh yeah, go ahead, Andy. Oh well.
No.
Like,
I'm sure that anytime his name gets brought up, she's like, oh, this is an opportunity for me to like make him eat shit again. Totally. I'm just saying she was asked. She wasn't just sitting on the couch and said, apropos of nothing, let's talk about Kyle and Amanda's wedding.
She's at the reunion. So
right.
So what was she? What? I mean.
Okay. Like, if you really think that she was just randomly asked a question, and
well,
then,
no,
like,
do you think, because what you're saying is that she said to Andy, ask me about this,
or like, I will answer this. Like, he knew going in, she's going to answer this question today.
But to me, like, fair, and you guys hate each other now, so like, fair game. If you want to ask, I'm telling you wouldn't stick up for me, so here we are.
No, oh yeah. I just think. I took what you were saying was that she was just asked a question, asked and answered. But I just don't believe at all that wasn't like a completely pre-planned. And like, because her answer was not like a off the cuff answer. It was very like, it all started in August of 2008. It was a dark and stormy night. Like, that's how it kind of came off, was very much like, here's the timeline here. I'm going to go by it bullet point. Like, it was like she fucking bullet pointed that shit out.
How about this? I don't think, and I could be naive when I say this, but I don't think the cast members have enough pull to tell Andy and the producers, these are the, if you could ask me these questions, or if you could hit this, because there are people that have.
It's participation, though. It's like knowing that someone's game or not. Like, you can ask her that question. She would have just been so much better served by saying, I've not talked about it for this long. I'm not going to lie about it any longer, but like, it's not my story. If anyone else wants to tell it, go. But she would have done such a better, but she couldn't fucking help herself.
Yeah, totally.
She was like, I am going to tear this motherfucker into.
But don't you get that? Like, if you're pissed at someone.
I do. I just don't think it was a good business move. That's all.
For her brand, I think it's a great business move for her brand. Because she's like, no,
yeah, totally. It could in two different businesses. Like,
yes.
Yeah.
She's not.
I mean, her brand is man hater.
Yeah.
So it does kind of work. But there's also like, is Paige calling the producers and being like, here's what we want to talk about? No, but there is a what do you call it? Pre-interview, you know, with guests and probably everybody.
Yeah.
So like, if there's a hot topic that's been going on for a minute that like, oh, Paige has been like, never said this thing about the thing, and now Paige is mad. Paige could come in and be like, you guys want to talk about the fucking wedding? And they're like, what do you mean? She's like, yeah, he got kicked out. I'll fucking say it if you ask me about it. And they're like, Andy, here's a new card. Ask her about the fucking wedding. She's going to spill the beans.
Yeah.
Like, so they can come in and say, I'm ready to talk about this. I'll do that thing. If you guys want to get juicy, let's do it.
Totally.
And then producers are not turning that down. You know?
Yeah.
And some good producers will come in. Like, I'm sure there's one producer that asks her every fucking time he sees her, or shit, like, you want to talk about the wedding? We're going to talk about that wedding?
Yeah.
Hey, and then can't we roll in? Sound speed? So tell me about the wedding.
Yeah.
I'm kidding. And she's just like, fuck you. And then finally one day she rolls
cracked.
in and says, you want to talk about the wedding? And he's like, serious? Fucking yes, let's do it. You know, like.
To me, that math just all maths. Like, it just makes sense to me. And she clearly can't stand this person now.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying it's right that she did it. I'm not saying it's wrong that she did it. I'm just saying I understand. It makes sense. And I thought that she stayed in the lane of, she didn't bring up all this other stuff. She just was like, yeah, he got kicked out. I thought he was wildly inappropriate. I thought he should have apologized. And I never said it, but now I said it.
Also, who cares about Craig and Paige?
Yeah, who
What
cares
else?
about them?
No,
That's the end. We do commies now.
one thing just to add on about Paige after like everything I'm saying is just so like a dissecting like what we've been watching and what we saw last night, and then taking into consideration the 10 years that we've, or not 10, 7 years. And that's why I bring this up, 7 years that we've known her, because I don't expect everyone to feel this way, because I also know that a lot of people don't like Paige at all. But for me personally, Paige put this show on the map. Mike hadn't watched it season by season like everyone else had, and when we did finally start watching it, I don't know if anyone's ever tried to like, oh God, this is the greatest movie ever. You've got to see this movie. And like you realize it's been 20 years since I saw it, but like, oh, it's the thriller of a century. This happened to me with The Firm with Tom Cruise. Thought it was the greatest movie that like, oh, I'm on the edge of my seat the whole time. This is crazy. Try to rewatch that movie. Actually, don't. Don't. That's the
point.
That's the point. Don't. We started watching Summer House, and so for me to have been like, oh no, I think you'll like this, and then for to be sitting next to Mike and us watching those first two seasons, when you're trying to get someone who's going to be out any second,
yeah,
and you're doing everything you can to avoid him checking out before, because you know it's going to get good enough.
Yeah.
But like those first two seasons were dog shit. We ended up just scrapping them, and like I think we got through like 3 or 4 episodes of the first season before I was like, Mike, here's the thing. In season 3, Paige, you know Paige, right? Paige, Craig's girlfriend, Paige from the Giggly Squad.
That's how we started. I knew of the Giggly Squad.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, these two were doing, you guys, Uncorked had just started sitting in. And I was like, oh, Giggly Squad, I love those girls. They're so funny. They said this, that, and the other. And Courtney's like, oh yeah, they're on Summer House. And I was like, what?
Yeah.
And she's like, they're on a reality show called Summer House. And I had no idea. I had no fucking idea.
Yeah, exactly.
And so we started watching it.
So we skip forward, and like I had already knew, obviously I could say like, oh, it gets way better when Paige comes. But after that second rewatch, I was like, no, it actually becomes a show when Paige enters. Paige, to me, has brought everything you could possibly want from a main character in any show, for any girl to watch anyone like this, to whether, I don't want to say to aspire to, but to be reminded that like these choices are possible, make these choices, you'll get here, whatever. Like I just think that she is a wonderful fucking person to watch on television. And she's parting ways. I don't know what is next. And like she says, she acts like she doesn't know. She could be lying. She should be covering for someone. I don't know.
I mean, her and Lexi got some things in the works.
Maybe they do.
Right.
Yeah. But I just want to applaud Paige DeSorbo and her 7 years of service on just this specific show. That's not including anything else that she's done. She has a massive future, and I can't wait to see what she does next. I love her so much, and I'm just dissecting a show that we're talking about. But huge addition. Put that show on the map for me, for sure.
Yeah. It came alive.
Yeah.
Commies?
I do, obviously. I mean, we all do, but I normally go last and just do all the ones like that you guys haven't done. But I'll just start with this one because it just still does. It's just kind of, it's not going to, it might open this Paige thing back up, but we're not going to let it. I'm just going to read it because like it was just so Mandy J says, I've just watched the final episode. Kyle makes fun of Craig and puts him down, saying he's a bad businessman because he has business partners, but at the same time is admitting his marriage and future children with Amanda is in jeopardy, and what he needs is a business partner. Paige implies Craig is wrong for selling a product that is similar to Kyle's because the two of them were friends on a show together, when Paige this week launches a product that is similar to Madison LaCroix's, and the two of them were friends on a show together. Listening to Amanda and Kyle's relationship reminded me of Paige and Craig's relationship. Kyle is Paige and Amanda is Craig. Kyle is the one who wants to accept all the opportunities and focus on work, whilst Amanda wants Kyle to slow down so they can spend time together and have a family. Craig was asking Paige for what Amanda is asking of Kyle, but Craig gets vilified for it, and everyone is sympathetic towards Amanda. Paige says she never lied before being with Craig, and she had to lie so much for him. Paige was in Charleston at times when they were filming Southern Charm, but she didn't always want to be on the show. So she stayed in the bedroom that Craig decorated for her, and Craig lied to everyone for her. When Nia covers for Danny, this is on the Valley, when Nia covers for Danny, we accept this as what couples do for each other. Craig made that weird confession in his early 20s to the life coach that he's such a great liar, even though everyone seems to know when he's lying, so how great of a liar is he really? But people seem to have weaponized that ever since. Paige didn't respond to Madison when Madison reached out to her after hearing of the breakup, nor did Paige congratulate Madison on her baby news. Paige explained that Madison is Craig's friend, so that's how it should be, and that seems reasonable to everyone. However, Craig is made to look like a terrible and irrational person for behaving the same way to Paige's friends. These two reaped what they sow. They got what they the work that they put in, it's all coming to fruition. Like everything, there's not been a lot of like, no one has stepped perfectly in this. I think a lot of people maybe like you during the Spritz Wars, we talked about it and we beat that horse into the ground for probably 3 hours, and at the end of it, whatever Mike's like final argument was, it like didn't matter to me. I literally just was like, I don't care. I hate Kyle. Like, I think that everyone, for whatever reason, has their horses in this. I wonder what kind of factor it plays that like Craig is just the most likable next to all of the dum-dums.
Real low bar.
On Southern Charm. So like maybe if Bravo brought on somebody that was as cute as Craig and lived a more ethical way of with his friendships and his business dealings, maybe we would all hate Craig or get annoyed of him as we do the Whitneys and the Sheps and even the like Austin's just, I don't even know what Austin's doing, but anyhow, like this, like it all really always goes back to Bravo casting and like how they chose to cast these shows. And like, Craig is our best bet on Southern Charm. Like, and maybe Austin will have a really good season next year because he's been, low plate. He's been low key for a couple years. I don't even know what else is doing anymore. So it's all sort of been, it's the cerulean sweater that was chosen for us by the people in this room,
I think really with that comment, which is a great comment, makes me remember it's why I love these shows and it's why I love dissecting them to like the minutia of the minutia with you guys, because life is complicated. Even when you're filming, like,
just going to stop and do minutia.
Oh yeah. That even when you're filming these shows and people could be like, they're fake, they're whatever. Even if that's true, which I really don't think the majority of these shows are fake. I think, The Hills, stuff like that, but that was yesteryear.
Yeah.
There is a lot of reality in here, and there are people with real feelings, with real lives. Craig and Paige's relationship was real.
Yeah.
Amanda and Kyle's marriage is very real. It has been approved by the state of New York. It's so real. You know what I mean? Like, or certified rather. And so I just think that's what makes these shows so interesting, because we do see, as that comment says, that life is complicated.
Yeah.
And we get to look into all of this and we, monkey see, monkey do. We learn by watching other people. We like seeing other people's behavior to see where we could do better, where we have done better, where it applies to our life, to find, oh, she went through that breakup and look how great she's doing now. I'm going through a breakup. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not, but you know what I'm saying. Like, it reminds me of why these shows are just endlessly fascinating to obviously all of us and all of you.
Yeah.
I just want to start with my comments because my YouTube is still in flux. Christy, Sheiks, It Only Gets Better, Harris, Truth for Peace. You guys all said the sweetest things when I started sobbing over Sierra in last episode, which I stand by. But thank you so much, because I wasn't able to reply to you guys. And I feel like I might be missing someone, so I apologize. But thank you so much. That was really sweet. Only Gets Better. This is her comment about this, but I loved what she said. I'm bawling my eyes out. Totally understand your emotions. It sucks to be invalidated by someone you care deeply about. His silence and slight defense is just a dismissal of how intimate they were. I understand him in a way. I get that if he never felt so deeply before, that he would get startled and run. Juvenile, but understandable. I don't get filming with her and not giving her the decency of your full attention. How could a friend mean less than a paycheck / public opinion? If you have an issue with public speaking, then write it in a letter. I'm glad he finally opened up a bit, but it's been a minute, and do better. And I thought that was perfectly put.
Yeah.
This is Maximum Dull. This is Mike's therapist. People who think Paige is mean just don't understand her personality. And that's fine. You don't have to like everyone, and she probably wouldn't care for you personally either. What isn't fine is thinking she did this to Craig, who made the choice to act like he did, even if he was incapable of owning his shit like most Bravo, in quotes, men. He could have broken up with he could have broken up at any point if he didn't like how the relationship was going. He's attracted to, this is the part I thought was really interesting. He's attracted to women with ambition, but is threatened when he gets in his own head about how he views himself. He doesn't want to look submissive, meanwhile, acts like everything is happening to him as if he has no choice. And I'm like, oh, that is really interesting because his other big relationship that we saw was Naomi, and she's a really strong woman. So he is attracted to ambitious women. Okay, Nettie, still don't like West. I see you, girl, so hard. Still don't like West. Needs to be gone. He's as fake as they come. Get another clown for fuck's sake. The girls are always, oh, he's so funny. Not laughing here. I need a better comedian if that's his role. Also, maybe Paige supported his intrusion because she's a mean girl and just refused to give Lexi her moment or stage. But were just obnoxious to minimize her feeling. Both were obnoxious to minimize her feelings. Let her show her true self. If this is hyperbolic to y'all, whoever is perfect, speak up. Nobody there is. Those are her feelings. And who is he to chime in when Jesse is cowering in his chair? Jesse needs man classes. His actions created his telenovela. Okay, I can't remember if this was on the reunion or somewhere else, but apparently West called Lexi and said, sorry, was butting in about something. Yeah. It's just because I wanted this is what makes me want to punch you, Wes. I wanted the audience to see that I learned my lesson about bringing Sierra home to meet my parents, like without thought of how deep this is like to do to someone. Bro, stop self-producing. Stop doing shit for the audience. Be who you are authentically, and let's just see that. And I think that that's why he gets so stymied and stopped talking, because if anyone clocked this, he didn't say a word in this last episode.
Yeah, you mentioned that before we started today, and I was like he didn't have anything to talk about, but like at the same time, like, wow, you really did go almost an entire reunion except for throwing in just a few things. One thing he did throw in that I do have questions about was when he was like, so he told you, don't talk to these three, but talk to those two. And like some people might have taken that as that he was trying to break apart her argument, but others might think, I want everyone to know he was doing this with these three because he's trying to get with Sierra. He's still got this thing, like he's still trying to like play them in a way, keep her in the wings, whatever. And but wasn't doing that with Lindsay. And like, I'm just saying, like, I think it could be two ways, because all we've been watching lately is West kind of go, and write Jesse's misstatements.
Yeah.
You know,
he has spoken there. He has spoken
up. That's been a pattern of like the last like 3 or 4 weeks interviews and at the reunion
but
too.
But the way West said it was like, so he told you not to like these three, but to like Gabby and Lindsay.
Not to listen to them.
But he said it in a way that was
it was accusatory.
Yeah, like he wasn't being like, I hear what you're saying, but the vibe that he was giving was not that.
All
it was, everybody gave off the same vibe, which was, no, Lexi, no, go away. We're on Team Jesse.
Ugh.
And it's but that's the vibe.
Yeah, I didn't.
JG said, Courtney, have you ever made tuna melt Triscuits? They are so simple yet decadent. Please consider as tapas items for Showmance snackies. I'm a vegetarian, but thank you so much for the offer, and they can make them anytime they want.
I'm eating the hell out of those.
Trish S. Vader said, Courtney and I will be in our rocking chairs, gumming dots and sipping Coors Lights while White Claws while watching Bravo TV. And I just wanted to say, consider me RSVP'd for that rocking chair. Nettie again said, Courtney, yes, women do want overt signs of interest from the men they're interested in. West just acted like an F-boy with Sierra and made her look dumb AF. Still mad at him for that. And I just loved the echoing of the sentiment of like, yeah, we do. We want big sweeping gestures. Grace Carr said, I feel like this was supposed to be Lexi's revenge dress, but it lacked the certain wow factors Sierra had last season. And I agree with that because I know we were touching on that and you really liked it. And I couldn't put my finger on it.
No, I just like that. I thought that she looked better than anyone else really did. Just like the way, like the color on her, like the pastels were like wiping everyone else out.
I think it was
somehow
also the back,
the way that,
the white.
Yeah. But somehow the way that she did it just like didn't, I just, whatever.
Yeah. Rebecca Krakow, gosh, love Craig, but he's still a pathological liar. He still is cute, but both are true. And I just think that's so funny given the conversation. Obviously, I didn't know we were going to have that conversation, but clearly it's a thing, what we tapped into.
No, some people are just old enough to know, like, we don't expect the world from any dude out there.
Yeah.
Like, now we're like, oh, you provide these 3 things? Well, that's 3 more than my fucking idiot husband brings home. So, not here.
Not this
Present
idiot
company
husband.
excluded. I'm just saying that, like, that is what happens. Like, every
I
Gen
don't bring
Z,
home
every
3 more
young
things.
millennial, every whatever, we'll get to a point where it's like, it's his shit or someone else's.
You said that
I say
once,
that all
and
the time.
I was like, that is one of the wisest things I have ever heard. Meteor Wine said, agree with Courtney's assessment of the West Sierra saga. They are still in love. Also agree that Wes completely panicked over his feelings for her, and like so many people choose to flee, but he regrets it. And while Sierra can play the tough girl, she cannot deny what she feels. The heart wants. Neither has let it go. Oh, and Court, what brand of chocolate mushrooms were on the menu today with the Giggle Fest? Not to be jealous, guys, but I'm naturally that wonky, and so is Natalie.
But
we
that's
love the
exactly how we
mushies.
do act on chocolate mushrooms.
Correct.
So
Anyway, those are my commies.
The first one I think was probably the best comment that we got all week. It's from Harris. Mike, you are so caps S-O high fashion.
I love that comment.
With the heart. Thank you. Thank you, Harris.
That was very cute.
What?
Mhm.
He knows.
I know.
He's in the fashion business, in the beauty business.
Yeah.
Who would know better than a beauty business person
About your beauties.
about my beauties?
It's not your beauty, it's your booty.
It's
What's that from?
I don't know, but it's from here now.
No, it's from
Joe
a
Schmo.
movie.
If Joe Schmo's watching,
Yeah, Joe Schmo, if you're watching, tell us what that's from.
She's got photographic memory, I think. I'd never seen anybody remember every movie or every line of everything. This one with the music, she can remember every song that she's ever heard in her life. Sing
You know,
it back.
there's a condition, not a condition, but or like a gene or something where you literally remember everything. There's some Mary, I can't remember her name. She's a famous like half-hour sitcom actor, and you could be like, "Where were you on January 2nd, 1971?" And she'd be like, "What part of the day?" They're like 4 o'clock. She was like, "I was leaving lunch at the Russian tea room and on my way to pick up my kid from school." It's crazy.
Okay, well, I can't remember anything like that. If
that's
you
not
put
her.
a beat to it, it doesn't escape. And maybe I should look into that because I can't remember anything else. So maybe every day, if it's important to remember, maybe I
need
should
like a
just
little
try a little
soundtrack.
jingle
Yeah.
later and see if that.
Well,
if
it
that
is
helps
a
with
learning
anything.
technique, hence Schoolhouse Rocks.
Yeah,
That is a bill. I'm just a bill. Yes, I'm only a bill.
yeah.
Sitting here.
Next
Okay.
up, Carly. Carly T. The only reason I'd believe Craig returned the phantom ring with his new girl is to be like, look what you could get one day, like some weird proof of funds flex. But in no way do I believe there ever was a ring. And that is, I sat with that one for a minute. It's like, it's a total thing Craig would do, but also I'm a dude, so I don't know. Is there a woman alive that stays with a dude after he does that?
I'm sure there's a woman alive.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Really?
there's definitely
Charles
some women
Manson
that are.
is married in prison right
Yeah.
now. There's definitely a woman alive that would do that.
Yeah,
You picked the
it's just
most
not-
charming, persuasive man possibly
Fine.
to
There
ever
are
walk
many
planet
a
Earth.
man in prison that are married.
Okay, but there are also many a women that are just here for the money, the fame, the bling, the thing. Like that's
What do you think
that
Matt's
is
here
not
for?
a new thing. He just picked the wrong girl. What do the kids say? You picked the wrong one.
You got the
You got the
wrong
wrong
one.
one. My sister Lindsay always said that. It ain't me. I'm not the one. She always
You
says
got
that.
the
I'm not
wrong-
the one.
This is
Wait, I have a comment about that.
fine.
Sorry. What that just reminded me of is a little just thought I had. it was a really bold move, or just a very unthought out move. And I think that's where Craig gets sloppy, is when he just like doesn't think about how he decided on the day to tell us. We talked about this before. You did this on the day that you're at Watch What Happens Live with your new girlfriend. Like, that's the day that you've decided to tell us that you took the ring back. So that's all. That was one thing. But to take it another level, you've now just put this girl in a real position, because she either knows that you did, knows that you didn't, and 2 years from now, we could be seeing this whole thing play out again. The first time I ever lied for Greg was September 7th.
But that's how it happens.
Whatever.
Honestly,
exactly.
it's like these little, that's how I understand how Paige got to where she got with him, because it's all these little micro things that lead up to the bigger stuff. Okay.
Just to add to that, we'll just add that, go here out of order. Truth for peace for freedom. I'm not a if you're wondering why is the guy in glasses keep taking his glasses off, these are my faraway glasses.
Near side.
And my close glasses I left at work. So I can't see this, but I can see you guys. I'm sure you were all super curious about that. I'm not a professional. This is Truth for Peace for Freedom. I'm not a professional body language analyzer, but it doesn't take a genius to see that when Craig is asked about the ring, he looks down and shifts around nervously in his chair. I ruled deception. Once again, another stupid lie where no one got hurt, so I still love him. And that,
I'm telling you,
he's
it's a thing.
He's such a ding dong. Quit lying, Craig. He needs a bar of soap in the mouth and a smack on the butt. That's funny. Do you know how many bars of soap I got in the mouth when I was a kid? Because I had a potty mouth. Shocker. But Travis.
It didn't work, is that parenting tip.
It didn't at all. But I told Travis that. Are you here? And he was like, wait, what? He didn't. My friend Travis could not grasp that when I went to school, teachers could put soap in my mouth as a punishment. He was like, I don't know, that's child abuse. I'm like, if you'd have heard the way I spoke as a child, it was not.
You were the one doing the abusing.
Yeah.
Also, that just shows again the generations. Like he's not way young, but he's a significant
younger,
chunk of years less. And like there are a lot of kids out there. A lot of people are a little bit younger than us that are like, that's child abuse. It's like. That?
No.
Oh God! I just get hit with a stick off of the tree.
I used to have to go pick the stick.
Yeah, or you'd have to pick the stick.
And then pick all the little things off it and hand it over, and then wow.
None of that stuff happened to me.
Yeah,
but I am the youngest here.
Exactly. It's only like a few year difference that like completely changes the discipline that you grew up with.
In 81, you could spank. In 82, you couldn't.
Yeah.
Like that was it. Really quickly.
Yeah.
Truth. I made that comment last episode where I was like, you could see, because he was just like, I returned it last week. So I'm with you, and I'm not a body language expert.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's like all the argument about Kyle. At the end, I'm realizing I don't care. I don't like Kyle. I like Craigie.
Whatever.
It just all comes down to personal
I like them
pref.
both.
This is a thought that I had
I like
last
everyone.
week, but I didn't say it because sometimes I'm smart enough, dude, to not make comments about ladies' looks and stuff. But this person did, so I'm clamoring on. This is Liz Eisenhower. Whatever body tan or glitter spray all the girls were wearing made their skin look overly porous and bumpy, like chill bumps. Not attractive on any of these beautiful girls. I thought they looked like the outfits looked, but like I did, and I watched them. I was like, yeah, that's weird. What is this spray glitter, weird gooey shit everywhere?
I am so shocked that they let Set Deck do those chairs that stark white, because I remember when like I was graduating college and there was one audition class, right? And one of the main things at like a prestigious acting university is never go to your on tape auditions in a stark white t-shirt.
Yeah.
Because it makes you look weird, and it doesn't, unless
It's
you're
not
lit
you,
and
it's
there's
the cameras. Yeah,
What?
you have to light for it. It's the cameras. It blows out the cameras.
Yeah, right.
Fucks up the white balance.
Correct. And like there's too many people on it's not like it's an interview where they're just interviewing you and they can tweak everything for you. It was so many people with their fucking body butter and the glitter and the bronzer and the painted on abs that like it just was this amalgamation of
Wait, Gabby's abs aren't real?
No. Gabby's abs are real, but like even Lexi, who has obviously
Yeah.
a beautiful body as well, she had the body contouring.
There was something like what I believe more than anything is that all of those women did not show up to the reunion wearing a new brand of body spray that they had never tried and tested to be true and fulfill that whatever they're trying to do. That this was not their first rodeo with that spray stuff. This is all the set deck's fault. And like, I remember one of the first things hearing about this set was, who in God's name lit this? And like, there are weird shadows, and it's not lit for the pastels and the white. Like, it's just,
there was just a coldness to it, which was,
and just just blah. Like,
right. I'm gonna get into my next funny comment then from Johnny Smiles. Big shocker. I'm gonna go back to back on Johnny because 2 of them were great. The cast looks cultish. Which we talked about it, like, oh, I signed up for this cult, and I used to do a thing with my friend Travis, who we were just talking about, and we did like, could we be a cult leader episode? It's real fun if you want to check it out. Then I made a joke that, like, oh, I signed up for a cult and all I got was this pastel dress, and that's totally the vibe that thing had. And then secondly, Johnny Smiles, I don't think this season needed a reunion.
agreed.
Also something that I was like, I don't know if we needed this one.
No, we didn't.
So, yeah, 2 good ones.
no, if Paige isn't bringing something to someone's doorstep that's on the set and not
Or
on
Lindsay.
a different show, or Lindsay, then like, what are we doing here?
Yep.
Yeah, that was weird. Shannon Fall. West's future self hates him so much for effing this up with Sierra. Nailed it. He's going to need foot surgery from the eventual ass kicking he's going to give himself. So totally true.
Yep.
He's just at that age now where he doesn't get it.
No.
But one day he's going to pop this old bad boy in with his kid and be like, Daddy was on a summer show. And the kid's going to turn around. Wes going to be fucking crying and shit. Daddy, what's wrong? Oh, your daddy's an idiot. That's what's wrong. Your daddy's a fucking idiot. I keep forgetting they're my faraway ones.
You never believe me when I tell you, go,
I
I don't
it's not
remember
that I
what they're
don't
called.
believe you, but like that's something Craig would say is charming and cute. They're my faraway ones.
I thought you kept saying it because you thought I was wrong. I'm like, no, I had a lazy eye as a child. I know glasses.
What the hell?
I wore a lot of them.
Too much information. This is from Mr. Sugar Shay. Do you know that after you left, and I was like, I think it's Mr. And then I was like, well, it's definitely not Mrs. Sugar Shay, but it could be Mrs. Huggashay. So like it could be a Mrs.
It could.
We'll have to go find out when we get our cheeseburgers.
Oh my God, I could use one right now. I'm so hungry.
Yeah, so I made a thing about Craig and Paige, and the difference is that she's this and he's a Southern gentleman, and that's why he didn't want to talk about the breakup and it was not like a real point. It was just an observation. And a couple people have said Craig's not from the South; he's from Delaware or whatever. Totally true, but also Craig is has such a hard on for the South and Charleston and that vibe that I think like he's way more Southern than he is Northern
like,
because of choice. He
it's
wants
like
to be.
some New Yorkers are more New Yorkers than people that were actually born there because it's like their entire life they just wanted to live there and this is what they've committed to. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, but yeah. I'm kidding. He's from friggin' Delaware. I have to read the whole thing. So anyways, this is from Mr. Sugar Shay. God, I hope that's right. Correct us if we're wrong. Craig is not a Southern gentleman, in quotes. He's from friggin' Delaware for the love of his ever-growing Pinocchio nose. Super funny. Super funny. SH, the girls behaved so poorly towards Lexi this past reunion for no reason. Was it no reason, SH?
We don't know.
I think there was a reason, but we don't know what it is. So if they had a reason, if they had a reason, we would hear it. Probably true. Also, someone tells Sierra there are worse crimes than a member of your ensemble cast uttering your name in a press interview. For example, flirting with their boyfriend and then acting bratty about it. Listen, it's a take. That's for sure. Oh, shit. This is Lee Armstrong. Best quote goes to Mike, and that's me. Did Paige watch the Jetsons as a child? Listen, no one's ever agreed with me on Paige's Jetsons fashion, ever. Like, everyone says I'm an idiot, except Lee. There's a couple of people actually
the last
that
person
agreed.
on this show, in these comments, this audience, that has called you an idiot.
No, about Paige's thing. Like, whenever I say that Paige's Jetsons chic, no one's ever really agreed with me. I got a couple people that are like, yeah, I agree with.
You did.
I agree with Mike. This is Morticia 777. Great episode. And listen, you probably were going to read this one because you replied to it. But Natalie and I had a conversation on the last episode about these two idiots giggling for 35 minutes straight uncontrollably. And Natalie came out and she was like, oh man, this is super funny, but I think people might be really annoyed by it. They weren't. They loved you guys. They thought you were so funny. Great episode. Y'all gave me the giggles along with you. Everyone in my house kept asking why I was laughing so hard. That's pretty funny.
That's the best ever.
Totally. I love that.
I was laughing editing it, and Mike, because my edit bay is in the bedroom, so sometimes
This
like
is
if he
real.
knows it's going to be a long night, he'll sleep out. He'll just fall asleep watching TV on the couch. And he said he woke up multiple times at like 3, 4, 5 a.m. And he thought I was crying, which
No,
I
like,
actually
legit.
could have been crying, laughing. And I'm watching it and I was there. And it was like, but then I was like, that's only because I'm in that moment. I know our history. I know what we're laughing about in all those stupid movies. And anyone who's like a first time dropper buyer on this channel is going to be like, I can't understand these morons. What are they like they think any of us care about their stupid movie references and like and whatever. And I truly, because I would probably think that coming across someone's, I'd be like, I don't what? Okay, bye.
As a professional laugher, okay, I really felt that our people would get it and think it was hilarious because we quote enough movies, and if you've stayed with us that long, you're like, when you started doing the Italian accent and Mike's like, so is that your Australian accent? Like that wraparound. Even whenever I'm having a bad moment, I just go to hour 150, marker 150 on that episode. And I'm like, everything's fine. They were cones.
Bella Lucis. Oh, we've heard West and others talk about his high freak number, and I think it's as simple as he lost interest after he realized they weren't sexually compatible. It's about him and Sierra and like why that thing fizzled out so quickly after he got some. This would absolutely come across like he dumped her after they slept together, and in my opinion, Sierra comes across as more just flirty, not actual frisky. Also, believing him when he said, I've never had a relationship this deep is the very reason he's able to get over on women. It's like a Craig lie, like when women tell every current man that he's the best they ever had. That's true, right?
I've never said that to every man I've slept
The
with.
theory about West and Sierra was the main thing of that, which I
No.
thought was super interesting. Like,
If you're wondering what porn is doing to relationships and to like just men in society and their journey to finding their person and whatever, like I think that's a great example on a show you're watching. You've just met a man who has very likely been thinking that like things should be a lot crazier in the bedroom, and if it's not, then like there is someone out there who will do those things or just can't even get excited about just like about that, and he seems prime for it. I used to always think my initial take on West and what happened there is that he never got any action in school. I thought he probably had like an awkward childhood because he just looks kind of funny to me now. So I thought, imagine this kid. Look at Jesse Solomon. If you think Jesse Solomon looks funny now, look at that prom photo of him. Like that's what I thought that West had. Now I think that West was the guy that actually did get a lot of tail and probably was having threesomes when I was in high school. Like I didn't know anybody having threesomes except for like this one girl, and we talked a gang of shit on her, and that's horrible because that's not how I feel about them at all now. But like still, just generational.
it was a different time.
It was a different time, yeah. But I think that West was the funny guy that was doing crazy shit and has access to porn his entire like adolescence and come up. And now I think that he like with his TikToks and the way that I see him acting with his friends and his friends from home. Was in a wedding recently, so he's got some up there of like his other buddies, and they're still doing just the dumb shit frat kid things that like, but like still like people really hold on to that. And honestly, like I wish that for everyone to still have those friends that they go back and have those ding dong moments with, like on a weekend getaway wedding where they're all it's a high school reunion kind of thing. I think that a part of this for Wes has also come to be that he has always had, he's the funniest guy, has the craziest stories with the craziest chicks. And it would rather continue on in that lifestyle now for when he does go on that wedding weekend and is able to go back and tell his friends he's still doing all that crazy shit. Because if he gets locked up now, who is he? in his circle that he's built his entire life, and his persona to his friends from then to now. He's that New York City kid out at 3 a.m., 4 a.m. going to weird clubs where people are doing freaky shit. And like, I just think it's all playing a part of where West is at. Just like, I wanted to say that because it was just a 180-degree different take than what I had in the beginning, because I thought he never got any and was cashing in now. No, he's trying to keep the dream alive because he doesn't know who he is outside of the dream. It could change next week. Who knows?
He has more in common with Imrul than maybe he thinks or wants to. It's interesting, though. Why didn't him and Imrul... Well, I guess they did.
I think he did.
Yeah, he had the
totally
most
did.
questions.
And the most respect for him in a way. Like, he would call him that thing. Because I just think that Wes is also from the generation of calling everybody beast. So when Schwartz comes, what are we supposed to call him? Schwartz Beast, Schwartz Nation. Like, he's like having that stupid college frat kid conversation that like never. He's perpetuating it into. It's going to be his forever dream is to keep in that character. So, but yeah, I think that he was way more impressed by Imrul and like wanted to like hear more about it. I think that Jesse was impressed by it, but didn't think he should be because he's a good Jewish boy, and so he would make it dirty and like kind of like look at say Imrul. Like I always thought that he had a weird judgment thing of him, but was so clearly intrigued by it because he wants to do that weird stuff. Exactly. Whereas West is like, say more. I think I could get in on that. Do you get plus ones for these parties? Like, I think that was probably a real conversation.
Yeah, West, you get plus threes. That's the point of the party.
That's like a mandatory.
Bro, you're living in the olden days.
Yeah.
It's plus 3 minimum if you don't bring 3.
This is a play party, not a swingers party. All right, it's your turn.
Okay. Patrick Boring says, love the giggles, definitely a back row church vibe. Paige had all summer to swipe at her boyfriend before ending their relationship. She got to release the upbeat breakup statement of how it was mutual and they were still in love. Her comment at the reunion that post-breakup, Craig, as a single celebrity on vacation, had attention while in a bar setting from women somehow is a worthy contrast to Paige walking intimately down an otherwise empty hallway with a new man hand in hand. Paige needs to drop this while she's behind or develop a time machine. Just take the loss and work your success. And I think that I read these comments and I'm just the messenger. I'm just relaying what they're saying.
I'm just the waiter.
Yeah, narc. But I think that this is what a gang of people are seeing. This is where I teeter of just like, listen, we're all not talking about that thing that you did on Super Bowl weekend. We've all decided to like let it be and let it lie and just decide that it was like completely over.
Joanne has not decided.
Joanne has not.
Joanne Greco is
that's
keeping it alive.
There's this middle ground of us that are like, no, we're not going to talk about that. We don't know, so we're not going to insinuate and whatever. While a lot of other people are, we're keeping it low. Take that. Don't let the gift horse in the mouth. Just like, onward, you know, like just like,
wait,
let
are
it
you
go.
talking about the guy that everyone thought that she cheated with, that she was with on the Super Bowl?
And so when she keeps bringing up this thing, and Andy even kind of called her out on it, and which I thought was good because she keeps saying he was off on, like, if it was New Year's weekend or like whatever weekend was, he was out there being single, acting single. And Andy finally, after all these months, asked her, what do you mean by he was out there acting single? And her response to it was exactly what she meant, but it was not what she had been trying to insinuate with that comment. She had been trying to insinuate that he had girls hanging out. Like, in my mind, from what she kept saying, I would get the vision that he had girls kind of hanging on him, taking a lot of selfies and a lot of, like, you know, just, which he explained who those people were. And I think it was like people, they had just gone to a wedding with them the weekend before or whatever. Like, I don't remember the specifics of it, but it was just not someone that, like, if Craig was telling the truth and those people really were who he said that they were, which I know that we've got 50-50 who will believe that. But if that's the case, then, like, she was really trying to make something out. I think she was just in, like, hardcore defense mode and was just like in like was getting a lot of shit. So then trying to put it out there.
I think I misunderstood. I thought because they hadn't announced their breakup yet. They announced their breakup on New Year's Eve because they had broken up on Thanksgiving, right after Thanksgiving.
She decided to announce it, I think, in January, like early January.
New Year's Eve.
No, it got announced on New Year's Eve because like she just said, we did break up, but he didn't want to make a public announcement yet.
Right.
But he's out acting single.
Right, but what is
So-
acting single? Acting single would be like if you tell me he's out acting single, the vision that I would get from that, and I know I'm only one person, but I feel like I can't be the only one who gets the vision of out there acting single is taking photos, out at partying. There's girls with him in these photos. Maybe they're not like, kissing him on the cheek, but like they're maybe arming, kind of hanging on him, whatever. Just like a lot of like party photos with women.
Totally.
That's what I'm thinking. And like I saw the photo that they were talking about. They didn't really look like anything to me. Like they just looked like whatever. And I don't think that I don't think that is really what I think that she said that a lot to imply something. And I think it was like a little bit more like.
I took it as just like, bro, I don't care. You could be getting blown in public for all I care. People don't know we're broken up yet. And I'm getting people asking me stuff. So let's just make the announcement so that it doesn't matter. Like you can do that, but we haven't said it. So we just have to say it.
But have you seen these photos?
The photos don't matter to me. I think it's more like she was probably getting hit up being like, hey, I'm in Aspen. Just saw Craig doing X, Y, and Z. Like, are you guys okay? And it's just like, no, we are. I wish I could just say to them like, oh my God, yes, we're just not together anymore.
Yeah. Well, when you say acting single, if you don't take anything from those words, if you don't take the implications that come with those words, then I think that you're being very generous. But that's just me. Just me.
I'm a generous guy.
Yeah. Sarah McBride says, hearing my name 3 minutes in, oh, y'all can't tell me nothing. I'm famous now. Yeah, you're as famous as the idiots on this couch, which is...
Hate to break it to you.
I know.
Don't piss on Sarah's porridge.
No, I'm just saying, like, it's so hard to even hear something like that because I'm like, we're just this.
No, of course.
It's just,
Yeah, you summed it up perfectly.
No, of course. I totally.
That's what we are. Just
yeah, but the sweatshirts that I just had made for just like us, like because I just don't have any, like we don't have merch yet or whatever, but like hope like they will probably get them in the week. They were made with Sarah McBride in mind. The entire I'm like Sarah would love this. I don't know why that happened, but like I would not have come up with the image that I did had it not, and you're gonna think it's from Foof.
It is Foof. You have a lipstick on your tooth.
With my mom, that's what my mom always says. I'm saving it for later, so I don't have to reapply.
That's Foof. It is Foof. You'll see. Everyone will be like, "Oh, that's Foof. Where's Minnie?"
It wasn't really Foof. If it was about Minnie, I would say it was Minnie. But that's just me. Listen, I'm just telling you, Sarah McBride is in my mind, probably more than she's comfortable with.
She's the EP of the show.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Here's something. Trisha S. Vader says, I really hope you're wrong, Natalie. I am not a Hannah fan. Well, clearly I was wrong, but I will stand by this. You do not leave that name in there. You do not put it in the captions. You do not leave that soundbite of, can I get Hannah, can I get a sound check? Or whatever it was. Or mic check.
Can I get a sound check, Hannah?
It wasn't sound. It was mic check.
Hannah.
Like, I just think that Bravo is dangling so many things to see what hits. And in a way, it's smart business. You're able to put a rumor out there and get everyone all jacked up on Mountain Dew just to read the comments and see like, how is this perceived by the audience? Before we put a single dollar into this idea, let's drop a rumor and let all the people like us, like the TikTokers, like whoever on Instagram, the reality teas and
it could also be produced with Jesse being like, there's a big announcement on the finale or on the reunion.
Exactly.
And then the first reunion happens and then the thing comes out. Hannah, can I get a mic check?
Yeah.
Did everyone hear? Hannah's going to
Exactly.
be. And now everyone, it's like, that's a little deep. Like, I mean, it's not, it's market research. But like what really probably happened is the A2 or A1 was named Hannah or like, and that happened and the producer was like, do we have that soundbite? Put that in the fucking thing.
Yeah.
Let's that's just a produced moment,
right? But that's what I'm saying. It wasn't there for no reason. It might have been said in the moment as a real thing that happened, but you don't leave it
probably, we need to boost our ratings.
Exactly. So that's what I'm saying. Exactly. Like it wasn't out of
people like Hannah.
Yeah. It wasn't just like me
Hannah.
running
She's
with
the
something that I made up in my head. It was placed there. It was a cerulean sweater that was picked for you by the people in this room. I will always go back to that quote. It is one of the greatest quotes in the movies ever, like out of my top 100. And I think it plays in so many industries.
It also goes to prove your theory that one out of every 100 of your conspiracy theories will come true.
Yeah.
So
that was not
99 to go.
Yeah. A Little Red says, I live in Tennessee. We have a Belk. It's a high-end department store located in the South. Today in sales, guess whose face I saw? Craig's. His sewing line will be sold in Belk. Talk about moving on up. Paige's way of dressing reminds me of the 50s and 60s sci-fi movies and Twiggy. About the housewives, I'd love a recap on the fun and drama of 2012 from Mike.
What happened in 2012?
What didn't?
I guess we'll have to find out.
Only Gets Better says, haha, I loved it when they were talking about seeing Gemma and Andy said to Kyle, wash your hands. And then Amanda said, and hold your breath. The shade.
The super shade, but also the double shade this time when they were talking about when Andy was like, oh, Carl, did you say hi to Gemma? And he's like, oh, from across the room. And Paige was like, yeah, Gemma told him to fuck off.
That was great.
So funny, dude.
That is great.
Apple tree.
Yeah.
Pat Clark says, I like Hannah, and whatever her personality disorder is, bring her back. I'm in.
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
so
here
in,
for
especially now. God knows we need anybody we could get on this show. Well, that's clearly not happening now that Paige isn't coming back, but you know. Vicky Weatherby says, oh my God, I feel like we're friends in my head. And I just want to say that my greatest friends are in my head. So those are the best ones.
And I was just going to say, like, no, it's real.
Yeah,
Real, Natalie. Is it real?
It's totally real. I don't know what that says about any of us, but it is totally real.
Welcome, Sarah McBride, to the crazy.
I love that Pat Clark says, he didn't buy the ring. I've always said he didn't buy the ring.
Pat, you have. No, I remember Pat saying that, and I'm with you, girl.
I know. Sherry Trull says, I love your show so much. I appreciate the different perspectives on my shows. This episode was so great when you ladies were laughing fits and Mike sat there so confused. If you didn't add the laughing fits in there, I would be like, Mike is always sitting here so confused.
It's true.
So yeah, that comment could play through. Wait, did we read Harris's? Okay, wait. Why is Mike giving Kyle telling Hannah and Paige that the Giggly Squads needs to shut the fuck up whilst Amanda talks about her and Kyle's relationship back in the dark ages? That is what Mike gives us every week is, can you idiot shut the fuck up? So Daddy has to go to work.
Listen, Daddy had a busy work week.
So did Mommy.
So did all the mommies. Oh, Harris also says at Maximum Toll. He's now commenting to other commenters.
Smart.
On this platform. No, I love this. Everyone's getting what they need from here and connecting. We love to be the arbiters of connection.
Yeah,
and,
community.
Yeah. And Harris says at Maximum Dole, read me to filth, please. You can send me an invoice. Do you take Venmo? He also says fridge is looking a little low, Mike.
I took care of it.
Yeah. That's the only
I
reason.
had someone take care of
There's
it.
more stuff. One thing I am excited about today that, I don't know if we do it this week or next week, but these are all the worst Lover Boys and Spritz that of all the ones we bought, and they've just been sitting in there for however long. At some point, one of us would have drank them if they were just stomachable, and these just are not. So I'm excited to move on to next season or the next Kyle venture and get the right Lover Boys, get the ones that we never got.
This is
The
going to be
limoncello.
Amanda's
and the espresso
bikinis
martinis.
in there.
Yeah, there's going to be bikinis in there.
And Paige's pajamas.
Yeah.
Yeah. Harris says, listen, Lindas, we could totally be wrong about Wes and Jesse friendship, but then you confirmed it. Who else would bring people to meet his family and it not really matter to him, but it would matter so much to the person meeting his family? West. And who would fall for it? Jesse. And listen, I'm starting to see the light about my boyfriend. Maybe Kyle isn't that bad.
Thank you, Harris.
And that's what Bravo brings us. Is he that bad?
Yeah, exactly.
That's the Bravo way. He's not that bad. Len Bendy says, you're dead to me, but I need a favor. And Craig is the bad guy for saying no. Paige went from Craig was the best boyfriend she ever had to that she thought they would be friends, so he's dead to me and I will never speak his name again. She goes from being a strong woman with a voice to a victim whenever it suits her. That is a sentiment I think a lot of people, that's the issue that a lot of people have with this situation and going so hard on him on the last day of school. Morticia says, I bought 4 bags of dots because of you guys. They're great. You are right. They should be a sponsor of your show.
Yeah.
Hear.
Yeah.
Jesus. We've got
That's
this one's on the
crazy.
dying over here eating them because she's gluten intolerant. Okay, Palava Girl says, exactly, Mike Mark. I'm very annoyed at the ladies for shutting down your feedback. Seriously, and Paige is not that innovative. Same sci-fi look.
Yeah, see?
Fine, whatever.
Dude, Palava and I we're on the same page last
I
couple weeks.
know.
Wait, did you guys see the really cute Dunkin' Donuts commercial she did with her cat?
Who? Palava
Paige.
girl? I'm like, what the fuck?
Paige.
Ooh, Palava
It's
Girl.
real cute. It's with all different outfits, and Daphne's looking
Yeah,
so kitty.
No, it was National Donut Day the other day, and I didn't even eat a donut.
Well, you've eaten enough donuts.
You've
throughout
got
the
'em in
year.
reserve
Every time I
for-
talk to you, you're like, I can't believe how many donuts I just ate.
Dude,
There were
donuts are
donuts at our shoot the other day.
Yeah, I know. He said he was like,
I
the
ate,
director
bro.
came up to shake my hand, and he's like, and I just
Dude,
fucking had a donut, and he goes,
I didn't. I gave him a fist bump. I said, I'm full of sugar. And he was like, okay. And we fist bumped. And some sugar fell on the floor. But dude, the one day all I ate was donuts. And then I came
God.
home and then finally
no,
ate
this
food.
and this
Oh.
every night now. This guy has turned into me, which I've been my whole life. So like, I don't throw shade on this, but it is really funny when a 20-something-year-old man, after all those years, decides to come in, and he'll do this every day. But then also every day, at some point in the evening, he pulls up his shirt and sticks his stomach out, and he goes, "What is this? What is this?"
It's
Okay,
the
you don't have
donut
to fat
band.
shame me.
No, but like
On
then you
national
also go,
television.
"You can't believe how many donuts I ate today." Like, what is this?
So good.
It's the donut.
That didn't used to stick around. It would go away. Now it's just like, I'm here for good. But I still want my donuts.
There's a
That's why I
really-
need to go on a bike ride. We need to wrap this up.
There's a
Okay,
really good
fine.
place called Nuts, and they do vegan, gluten-free donuts that are delicious.
That's exactly what
Yeah,
he's
that
looking for.
doesn't sound
just
like
letting you
anything.
Okay, I'm wrapping this out with Truth for Peace for Freedom. I thought Gabby, Paige, and Sierra looked the best at the reunion. Gabby is bringing us something very new and risky. I'm interested in her bikini flotation top. It's multifunctional for a day at the beach. I can see this being a leap in swimwear fashion. Paige stayed with the theme of sleep vest. Her satin mint dress reminded me of a pillowcase. It's a great color on her, and Sierra looked ethereal. I can imagine her coming to me as an angel in a dream. Beautiful ladies. Lexi was the worst dressed. When a lady deliberately shows her ass crack, that's a scratch for me. That's not classy. That's assy. It's indecent and obscene. She is using the phrase less is more in the wrong context. Wes Wilson, aka Ariel from The Little Mermaid, because he lost his voice last season and is
forgot
desperately
about that.
trying to get it back,
so funny.
So
is
funny.
looking pretty good. Usually he gets his fashion inspiration from Benny Blanco, but he was looking snazzy at the reunion. Jesse Solomon's teeth hang out of his mouth. Even when he is not smiling, I couldn't even pay attention to what he was wearing.
Now we know that why that's
so
Nat's
funny.
favorite commento.
Also,
No, I love truths because listen, they're long, but like her bits are impaired. Like it's
Yes.
a bit on West. It's short and sweet. It's to the point. It's got a fucking punchline in it. She's got 7 of them, but like they're so good.
They
I
are.
read them all. Whereas a lot of time, just to get through, like so that our comments aren't, our comment section isn't 2 hours long. I'm just picking and choosing from each one because like, oh, that's a great line. I want to pull it out, but I can't. Like I said, it would be hours and hours of comments if we didn't do it this way. But I can never not read 90% of truths because maybe it's exactly what I'd like to think I would write. and so maybe it's really a narcissistic thing that I'm like, oh, no, I'll do that because this is the kind of work I would put into it.
I also paid attention to Sierra's outfit this second reunion because you guys were so hating on her outfit. And I was like, oh, I think she looked fine. I think she looked amazing.
What,
that
nobody-
little flowy, that like, oh, it was so
I just said
pretty.
I said I liked how her hair looked. I did not. I thought her nails were too thick. The stuff going on, and I don't like. This is just writ large. I do not like fake flowers. I don't like them in a house. I don't like them on a dress. I don't like them in your hair. I think it's bad feng shui.
But were those flowers or feathers?
Both. She had a flower and then feathers coming out of it. And to me, it was
thought that
giving
was
Mother of
pretty.
the Bride, and I didn't like it. And I said what I said.
if when the Dodgers go to the World Series again this year and Freddie Freeman doesn't hit a walk-off grand slam, I'll think he had an okay game. But it wasn't last year. Wasn't like that. It wasn't like that last World Series. This is the problem with coming in at the highest of highs. You've got to either repeat or exceed. It's a bummer that she peaked last season with the greatest look, the greatest entrance, the greatest here's my heart in
Even
my
when
hand.
she
I'm
cried,
telling you
it was like
everything.
one tear.
All of it. Every single thing.
So
She had the
good.
performance and wardrobe of a lifetime. And like that ain't nothing. And
What
so
you're
if anybody
saying-
wants to just take that I said that Sierra didn't pull off what she did last year as me just like bagging on Sierra, then like
Again,
get
it
the
goes
fuck
through
out
the
of here
weird.
with that. Like I can't.
It's going through a weird Sierra translator. We love her.
Yeah, I can't.
We're saying you looked like as someone drew you, literal perfection. And this year we
Yes.
just think it missed the mark.
And
And
that's
we can
it.
feel that way.
Yeah, and that's like if you want to take it any other way, then look inside because the
Also,
issue
by
is
the
not
way,
here.
didn't like how Lexi looked. Didn't like Lindsay's outfit. Didn't like, and I love how she dresses. Amanda's outfit. Paige's was whatevs.
Yeah.
I thought Gabby looked great. And I thought Gabby looked great.
Gabby was the look of the night. She had the best look.
Yeah.
Out of anyone, like
Just
hands
thought
down.
it was a poor
and you might not
reunion.
even be into that look, but I am.
We already talked about everyone's looks a week ago. Cool.
Great.
Like and subscribe.
Yeah,
Or
and if this
don't.
comes out late, it's because it's now 3.5 hours long, and again, we're filming this on a Saturday. Now it is 4:41, so I have
No one's gonna hear this
exactly
until it comes out.
but they're gonna know when it comes out why it was late because now I have 12 hours to turn this around
Well, you better
to get it
to
out
work.
on time.
Godspeed.
You better get to work.
Let's take all the knives out of this house tonight.
I'm going out.
He's going for a bike ride. You could always just tap his wheel into traffic.
No, yeah, I don't know if your helmet might disappear before you
We
leave. I don't know
kidding.
where that
Mike,
is.
Mark, Matt.
Huh?
Exactly.
What did I do?
Nothing. We love you. Like and subscribe. Ciao
Yeah.
for now.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow, guys, we did it. That
Yeah.
was Herculean.
Oh, pending any additional arrivederces from the rest of the cast, I just hope that Bravo is really fucking proud of themselves for having their two anchors quite possibly be, like I said, not knowing who else is leaving. You picked West and Jesse to be the two people that seem like for sure will be there, and
Kyle and Amanda, I think, will be there. But also, to Lil Red, I think that Carl thing was fake news. I looked it up because I freaked out when you wrote that.
What Carl thing?
That Carl, there was like a post that went out, somebody saying from Carl saying that he was leaving too, but it's not. It's not.
but it did
true.
go out on his account.
Yeah,
So
it was crazy.
it
And Lil Red was
it
like,
went out and then it got deleted soon
Paige is
after.
leaving, Carl's
yeah.
leaving. I was like,
Oh,
wait,
this probably
what?
just be another. Oh, Carl was a victim of hacking now.
Oh god,
He's
Carl.
getting his teeth cleaned and the hygienist.
He was getting his teeth sawed down per your request, America.
I think his teeth are too
And the
small
dental
now.
hygienist took his phone, gave him some laughing gas, and posted an exit that sounds exactly like an exit Carl Radke would write. Just saying. Working on my mental health, working on my biz, taking some time. Come on. He wrote that. He regretted it. Or he wrote that. Bravo called. You're not supposed to announce that yet.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah.
Well, I'm announcing my departure. Not from this show, just from the couch to go grocery shopping.
Do it.
Mike's gonna go ride his bike. Which sounds oddly childish, but I know it's not. Where's Mike? Oh, he's riding his bike. By the way, I love riding a bike.
It makes me feel like a little kid again.
But I ride a kid's bike. You ride like a rider's bike. No, I'm like, I have a basket, a bell. I love it. It's so fun.
I have a bell on my mountain bike.
You do?
But I hate it. It's for when I come around corners, I don't run people over.
Yeah, no, you got to keep that on there.
It's so annoying.
No, you got to keep